What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above all. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself, your health is here. We got it, reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show.
Hi, I am Sandy Sanders. I am the host and creator of the Coffee Conversation and Book Talks with Sandy. We are powered by the CTR Media Network. Working with the CTR Media Network truly has been a blessing to me. It's been very rewarding for my podcast. I have been doing live streams for a little over 3-4 years and knew that I had wanted to start a podcast, but just was not sure how. Well, lo and behold, yes, the founder, Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, has truly helped me with my visibility by promoting my services and the products that we offer through our training and through monthly training, helping me hone in on my craft and increasing my sales. So CTR Media Network makes sure that the podcasters in the network are aware of the streaming trends and techniques and support to our growth. It has been an amazing journey thus far, and I highly recommend the CTR Media Network. I made the right decision by being a part of the CTR Media Network family.
Hello, everybody. It's Michael Finkley with The Michael Finkley Show.
And I'm Nicole with Conversations with Nicole. You can join me Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on all of my streaming platforms.
Well, Nikki, don't forget about The Michael Finkley Show, Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the CTR Media Network.
Join us.
Make a way just when I feel.
From the season's hit movie, The Color Purple, is Fantasia, forming Superpower. Now available on all streaming platforms.
These lost lands, I kept my faith in us. No way, no days I didn't think about you.
It's alright.
Hey family, it's gospel artist Marcus Jordan, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Everything, it will be okay.
On the next Michael Finkley, our exclusive interview with Dr. Kendall Taylor, the former drug dealer and felon. How these events prepare you for your future. Being married to Fantasia, what did she teach you about you? Are you proud of yourself? Monday's Finkley.
There's a new familiar face this time. Say hello to the new daytime. See it everywhere you go. Doing the greatest show. It's no other than the Michael Finkley Show. There is no other. He's like no other. I'm so glad that someone resonates with me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Now, y'all, my next guest, I had to come on location for this. This is the first in-house interview for 2024, and I had to come all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina for this amazing, amazing interview. He has grown to be a brother, literally, truly. He is the CEO and co-founder of Salute First. He is none other than Dr. Kendall Taylor. How are you? Oh my gosh. Through the texting, through the phone calls, we finally get to see each other in person.
Oh, thank you. It's time, man.
Everything is time. I am super excited to be with you today and just chatting with you and You could just see, y'all. I wish you were here. Like the glory, definitely the glory. We've seen you on social media. We've seen what you're about. And we want to dive into a lot of different things because you have a lot of different hats that you wear. But how would you describe you? Who is Dr. Kendall Taylor?
That's different. I would say a man surrendered to the Most High. I'm gonna leave it right there. Just completely surrendered, man, and all that comes with it. You know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, but I'm definitely a God-fearing man of redemption, and absolutely fearless. I don't fear anything or anyone but God. And so here we go.
That's rare for people to say that. I've never heard people say it so confidently. I don't fear anything but God.
I know who He is in my life. Like I didn't find God in a church, even though I was at church. I grew up in church. I sung in the choir. I did the usher vibration. You know what I mean? Cleaned away all the communion at the church and pocketed all the bread. You know what I mean? Grape juice galore. But I found God in two unique places. And one was a night that I was about to get kidnapped. And then when I caught my last charge in 2007, there were two moments in my life where there's nothing you could tell me. There's nothing you could tell me about whether God through Christ is real because of what He's done in my life. And so at that point, man, I look at my surroundings and my universe different, man. If God be for me, man, so I'll jump. I'll go to that cliff, man. I'll jump. I won't debate. I'm not going to patty cake and hesitate. I'll jump. So it changes the perspective on how I look at life. Yeah. I'm not pump faking through manhood.
So let's go back, right? Because we're going to talk about these different phases of your life,
Take
right?
your time.
Phase one, right? In hearing your story, single parent, raised by a single parent, 3-time felon.
Indeed.
You sold drugs.
A couple of them.
Been in jail several times, right? How do these different events in your life contribute to who you are today?
It's like we teach a salute, bro. We say there is no loss when a lesson is extracted. All right. I've never taken a loss in my life, but I had some very painful and very costly and expensive lessons. So I say no matter whether you go to college or not, life gonna make you pay the tuition.
Oh,
one way or the other, right?
Keeps it in overtime. Listen.
Whether you go to college or not, life is still gonna make you pay tuition. I think it shaped me. I grew up being very fearful. No authority in my home, no cover, no protection. And though it's worse now, I still saw the violence. I saw drugs. I saw, that dynamic of boyhood and manhood and the crux of that. And I was very fearful. I got bullied a lot. I got picked on a lot, man. I don't even think I got my first fair fight, a good one-on-one, till I was like halfway through junior high, man, like 8th grade, 9th grade, right? So then what most boys in my predicament do is you try to become that which you fear, right? There's no emotional guidance and sometimes leverage to go through those experiences. And so I became that which I feared. I became violent. I ain't gonna say I was feared. That was never the vibration, and I didn't bother nobody. But if it comes, it gonna come. And that took me down a certain path that I think was necessary in order for me to do that which I'm doing now. I think there's a lot of positive and very much needed organizations and movements around prison reform, juvenile justice, que sera. But when you got a lived experience and you've been able to be down the barrel of a gun, like I've been shot multiple times, to be at that deep end of it, but then also be able to experience on the other side of the paradigm incredible success and where millions are commonplace, that gives you a landscape. Now remember, I'm surrendered to God. That gives you a landscape to look at manhood, to look at life, to look at husbandry, to look at fatherhood, to look at socioeconomic conditions, to look at incredible opportunity. I look at things from a completely different dynamic. And I believe those all combined in a cocktail we call Salute First is why we're having the impact that we have. So I don't regret a felony. I don't regret a charge. I don't regret a night sleeping in a crack house no more than I regret the house that I live in now. I ain't got survivor's remorse. We prayed for this. We labored for this. I enjoy the comforts of my home. But at the same time, I tell my wife all the time, I look at life through a completely different lens. I keep my wife and my kids away as best possible from the evil or ugliness of this world while I tiptoe back and forth on a regular basis. Because I live in a beautiful, beautiful home, but I'm constantly in the prisons. I have a very comfortable lifestyle, but I go into the disadvantaged areas to create pathways for these young boys and these young girls. So I see life differently than my family. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, the rest is yet to be determined and quantified, but we believe over the next several years we're going to make the type of impact that you can see on paper. That's what we have.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so yeah.
Kendall, you said that you don't regret it. You don't regret it. Why? Because so many people look back in their lives like, oh, I wish I would have did this differently. I'm ashamed of this and that and the other. But how can you sit there and boldly say, I don't regret any of it?
You never know what you have until you realize what you got. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a movie buff, right? I'm a movie guy. I don't watch a lot of TV. Like, I like movies, right? So I like sci-fi movies as well. And a lot of these movies stay with me. A lot of these movies, right, that deal with time travel is, you bouncing back and forth between two different paradigms, right? Similar to my life. But in those movies, if you go to the past and you change one thing, you move a cup, you stop an accident from happening, it will completely alter the future, i.e. the present, right? So I believe that. I believe if I go back and I do graduate from high school, right? Would I be Dr. Kendall Taylor? If I go back and I don't get shot, will I have a passion for gun violence? If I was the best father I could have been at age 15 years old, how would I relate to some of these young fathers out there who are looking for guidance? I can't go back and say, boom, scratch all of that. If I go back and say I have a regret, I say God made a mistake. And he's not the author of confusion. So I have to accept it, right? If I'm still here and I'm still breathing, because I know cats that got shot in the leg and bled out, died. I got a bullet in my lung to this day, in my lung. I know cats that got hit in little weird places and they bleed. Nah, if I go back and say that I regret something in my life, then I say God made a mistake. I would never do that. I made something he had. That's pretty much a period for me, bro. Right. Salute.
Where does Salute come from?
I was just doing it for years, man. Like me and my wife got this picture of the first outing I went on. She set me up though. She wanted me to come to her birthday party. So I'm thinking, I talk about it in the book. I'm thinking cake, ice cream, some cupcakes, a little bit of Patron. Man, she got 112 on stage, tweet, DC, go back. It was overwhelming for me. I'm proud. Long story short, you go all the way back to that first picture we ever took. I'm saluting. But I was going to the gym one day, and I walked in, and there was a white guy walking past me. He said, "Good morning." I said, "Good morning." And I never forget, it was this Asian dude walking past me. He was so swole. I was like, right, they make it like that. You know what I'm saying? He nodded his head, I nodded my head. But then a brother started walking past me. I'm sizing him up, he's sizing me up. We don't speak, like we showing each other fangs. And I go sit in the locker room and I feel convicted. I said, we, at least in our community, this thing we call culture, we'll speak and give everybody else a pass or make concessions. But when we come across our own, somebody we don't know, we go into a defense mechanism and we prepare ourselves for what? I said, nah. And then I tied that to a song, I think it's Biggie or something like that, where you say shoot first, ask questions last. Nah, we need to salute first and ask questions last. That's number one, you a man, you trying to get the same thing. I'm trying to get you up against the same opposition I'm up against. You desire a peaceful life for your children and for your mother to have her golden year the same way that I do. Let's start there. But we don't start there. We start with your wives. We start with the woman on your side. We start with stuff that really does not matter in the superficial. We never start with the contents of that man. So we have millions of empty encounters through life. We miss everything life is supposed to be about. We miss all of the beauty. We damn sure miss lesson after lesson and wisdom after wisdom because you caught up. So with salute first, the cornerstone, we're going to start. Every time I see a brother, I'm going to salute. So now, ever since that day, if I walk past a black man, I speak to him, I say, good morning, black man. I want you to be proud of your skin. I want to be proud of mine. Let's be, no matter what. And it make a lot of cats uncomfortable. So what's up? Because we might be around somebody.
It's not the norm,
man. It's not the norm. Nah. Yeah, salute, black man. Appreciate you, black man. And that's my way. So that's what salute, that's where we begin. Yeah. So that's where we begin.
Down the fast lane. Hey y'all, I'm artist Billy Stonecipher, and you're watching the Michael Finkley Show. Like a freight train down the fast lane, we're coming.
On the next Michael Finkley, founder and CEO of Threshold Entertainment, filmmaker and executive producer Larry Kastanoff is with us. He talks about his new publication, A Touch of the Madness, and a community spotlight series, All New Finkley, Monday.
Hello everybody, it's Finkley from the Finkley Experience. We're an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. So we assist students with their college and career endeavors. We train school administrators on the state of first-generation students. And also, we partner with colleges and universities to assist their first-generation population for easy transition from high school to college. So if you're looking for a presenter or speaker that presents on these topics and so much more, visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com and learn about all that we do. We're looking forward to working with you.
The next part I want to discuss your spirituality. You say you found him in a church, but not at a church.
Nah. I said I grew up in church.
You grew up in church.
I've been armor bearer for a mega church.
Mm-hmm.
But I found God, and he confirmed himself to me. One, coming out my crib one night to go make a sale. And the other night was when I was about to get shipped to another location down in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the times where I don't care what, you can't say nothing to me, bro, to tell me he's not real. Because when I caught that last charge, man, I cracked open that Bible in a very different way because I had lost everything. I'm facing the trafficking charge. I'm hearing that my condo got raided, my cars done got stolen, money people trying to send to me ain't making it to me, you know. But I opened up them scriptures, man, and I had an epiphany, man. I'm like, God is always taught to people as if they have to rise to some kind of standard, man, in the beginning. When at the end of the day, if I can read correctly, these are all rejects. This is a murderer. This is a cheater. This is an adulterer. This is a tax collector. I'm like, hold on, I belong. Now I'm an intellectual by heart. Like me, my round table is full of black stoics. So once you let me know, man, it's a lot I can't say. Let me do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do it this way. If you were born in 1980 in a hospital and you got a loving mother and father, and there was another child, make sure I do this right. There's another child born at the very same time, but his mother died while giving birth. She was a single mother, right? Mm-hmm. So your mother, feeling compassion, decides to bring that child in the home at the same time. Y'all grew up together like brothers, almost like Pharaoh and Moses, right? Mm-hmm. But in that child's mind this whole time, he still feels adopted. He still feels like this ain't really my house. This ain't really my mom and my dad. This ain't really my life. he'll enjoy the fruit of the land, but he's gonna always carry that void in his spirit, man, right? What would happen if one day one of y'all uncover some papers in your mama's room that actually shows you were adopted? If there was a mix-up and actually he has the birthright. So I'm just gonna leave that right there. You gotta study that shelter so you show yourself approved. But once I realized certain things about the scriptures, they became more personal to me. Yeah. Yeah. Because you gotta be careful these days. For everything you stand on, you're gonna offend somebody. All right.
This is true.
If you say
This day
the
and time.
dopest color in the world is blue, the Orange Organization of America is gonna be boycotting your stuff. So sometimes I've just learned, man, my opinion ain't always necessary. But that's enough right there for anybody interested to go get on that journey. But that's when it became unbelievably real to me. And the strategies that I built my businesses, the strategies I use in my relationships, they sit right there. I enjoy all kind of books. I'm a nerd. I'm just a nerd with tattoos, bro. I love poetry, Socrates, Plato. I love rhetoric. I'm different, right? But anything I need is in the scripts. Yeah. Period.
I got you.
Yeah.
And I feel that's another thing we have in common as well. I grew up in the church as well.
Yeah.
Grandfather was a bishop, grandmother first lady. So as grandkids, we had to go. We had to be. Nothing. No, grew up in the apostolic doctrine, so little sports events, right?
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah.
Church.
Yeah.
But it taught me foundationally that God He always gets what He wants. He always gets what He wants. They laid the foundation for me. But now, as an adult, as a 34-year-old Black male, I can say God is good. Yeah. Because I tried Him for myself. Yeah. And I have that relationship with Him. What has God done for you today?
Now let me make sure you asked me. You mean like in my present today, or just in general? In my present
today.
Okay. Brought me back to meekness. I didn't realize I had lost that. So my wife's movie came out on Christmas Day, and we did the complete opposite of what people in that position would do. We just turned the world off. We weren't checking social media, we weren't answering the phones, and we went on a fast the next 2 days. And what it showed me, man, was that true humility, right? Because you can have public humility. You can have intimate humility, right? Towards your wife, your kids. You be humble. But like humility before God, man, is getting back in that position, realizing I ain't done nothing. I have not done nothing. He's done this through me, dog. So let me say we, me and my queen, before we bent that corner into everything we prayed for, we lost everything in 07. We lost everything. Like we found love in an empty place, bro. We prayed for this. We did the vision boards. We fasted. We tightened our belts, man. We went on budgets. We made some incredibly tough decisions. And here we are. This is a great moment to forget what we promised Him. But we had nothing. We gave Him our word that if you redeem us, if you restore us, if you give us another opportunity, we're going to glorify You every single step of the way that we can. We're not going to lose ourselves. We're not going to become, some people can be their own idol. See, we always look at idols like the Ashtaroth and the totem pole looking things, or a different celebrity. But a lot of people have erected themselves as idols in their own life. And all across the board, we just said, nah, man, let us just consecrate ourselves right now in this moment. Let's be in this world, but not of it. Yeah. And it was the best thing we could have done. And He showed me how to get back into true intimacy with Him, man. Meaning, all these contracts coming, all these deals coming, Father, here, show me what You want me to do with it. That's the greatest gift He can give me, man, because success can swallow you, bro. Success can swallow your faith. It can swallow, because it comes after your time. It comes after your energy. It comes after your mental creativity. It comes after everything. And next thing you know, man, you more married to ambition than you are your queen. You know, it's like being at home with your children but not being present. I'm not doing that, bro. I'm not doing that, bro. I made mistakes with my first son. I made mistakes early on in my marriage. I made mistakes with my first business. I've been redeemed, and that comes with responsibility. So you go all the way down to the bottom of my page, man. Nothing goofy, nothing stupid. It's none of your business what kind of car I drive. It's none of your business when I go shopping and I go buy me. That's me and mine. When you see me, you're going to see the mission and family, the mission and family, the mission and family, because what I desire to do is to make being a God-fearing man, a man of character, an honorable husband, a dedicated father attractive again, right? Because the wrong things are attractive. So I'm hoping some young cat or some old cat be like, yo, that the way he worship God and talk about that, I can get with that. He really rocking with his family like that. He making that thing attractive. That's all I desire, because other than that, why we even got any exchange going on? Because I ain't a celebrity. If you're not a part of my business model, what is we doing? That's it. I gotta work on that. I don't like taking pictures. I don't. Now you put me in front of a microphone, let me talk. I'm here. But to be posing, trying to do all that, man, that's weird to me, man. I didn't grow up like that. That's why I got no pictures from back in the day. We got none of them. I got no pictures to show you I had braids. Bro, my hair used to be so long. I used to tell a girl, my hair longer than yours. We can't even. I was arrogant, bro. But I ain't got no pictures to show you. We wasn't taking pictures. So now we live in this age, man, where everybody's been permitted to have a voice. There used to be a time, man, when you had to go in your bag and go into your studies and go into your place of creativity and do something that was so grand that you got an opportunity to be on the platform. Just being on the radio was a big deal back in the day. Now, all you need is a login and a password. That's it. And who is you? So I don't want to compete with a lie. I don't want to compete with a lie. So I want to show brothers how to do it quietly, killing it quietly. And my wife is the best distraction I can have. Look at her. Don't pay me no attention. We walk into a room, I let her blind them, and I'm walking around trying to take everything that ain't down to the floor, bro. Nah, that's she got her thing, I got my thing, bro. But together, we tapped in.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't know what the original question was.
Because you already answered it.
We're gonna call that one long-winded. I'm back to the point though. That's my one long-winded.
Because you've already answered it. You've already answered it. Because when I look at you and you begin to speak, I think about one of my favorite scriptures, Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, all his righteousness. Then once you do this, then all these things be added unto you. And I feel that it's a domino effect. Once you keep him first, he makes things happen for you. Sure. And now we can say entrepreneur, right? With salute first. You told us about it a while ago, and the mission behind it. So I have to ask, why is it, because I feel that this encompasses your company, your brand. Why is it so important in 2024 that we as Black males embrace one another? Why is it so important to say, brother, I got you? Why is it so important to say, brother, I love you? Why is that so important?
I don't want to do that. Identity. Identity is the beginning of all things. Identity. First thing God gonna do is identify himself. You gotta identify himself so you know he's not one of these other fake. Identity is the beginning of all things. We have lost our identity. When you I was telling we would do one time, man, he had some art with another brother, right? And we had the potential to become violent. I had to help him understand that you're not really mad at him, man. You hate yourself. You've been conditioned to hate yourself. When you hate yourself, man, when you've been conditioned to hate your culture, to hate your history, to hate your skin, to hate the way you talk, the way you dress, this is that to the third, more importantly, anything that you think you lack. Very few people are cutters. Very few people gonna take that and do something self-inflicted. So what we have in a lot of these communities, call it a ghetto, call it the hood, call it the trap, whatever you want, is you have a lot of hurt people taking their frustrations out on each other. But very few of them are looking in the mirror and figuring out how can I rise above this emotion, this circumstance, this predicament, right? It's much easier to cut than it is to heal. It's much easier to tear something down than to build. It takes you 5 years to build a casino. It takes you 15 seconds to bring it down. It's very important for us to show love to one another, to honor each other, to support one another, because it's a reflection that you love yourself. When you love yourself, man, there's certain people you won't lay with. When you love yourself, even if you dabble, there'll be certain substances you won't touch. When you love yourself, you'll handle your money different. When you love yourself, man, you'll de-escalate yourself. You cannot get somebody to express to someone else something they don't possess themselves, man. That's like going to the bank, bro, having nothing in the account and going and thinking you're going to make an exchange. There has to be something in something. Yeah. And we have a lot of men that are empty. We have a lot of men that are simple. A lot of men just do not love themselves, man. They don't love themselves. And a lot of that is based on how we've been taught to measure ourselves. We've been taught to measure ourselves that we have no value if we don't produce. You got values. Oh, I like it. Thank you, Father. Melanin, you got more of it than me. I'm jealous. That's one thing I love about my wife, man. Every single day I compliment her chocolate skin. Listen to me. Melanin. Do we even understand how valuable melanin is? Do you know a homeless man is worth millions? Let's cook. Melanin is traded on the stock market. They are trying to create, no, not trying, they have created synthetic forms of melanin to work in processes and computer chips and all these the thing that's in our skin. If I'm a hustler, I'm definitely gonna try to make you hate the thing that's most valuable. I get a better price for it. So why do we walk around with such poverty mentalities and we hate the skin we in when the very skin you carrying, bro, you might be like 1.5, 1.7 right now. See, I might be by like a half a meal because see, somebody decided to make a cocktail back in the tavern of my past, right? You know, but at the end of the day, that's identity. Yeah. So one of the first things you got to take when you want to tell other people is that sense of identity. But at the end of the day, there's a homeless man sitting on the curb, feels like he has nothing. Maybe it could lift him up, even if he just knew, bro, you are wealthy. You are walking, breathing wealth. Go reproduce it. Go flip it. Invest yourself into something, man. Never alone. So every day I hit the flow, bro. I'm wealthy. I'm a king. I'm purpose. I'm on a mission. The universe will be in to match my efforts because this belongs to the Most High. This is nothing. This is nothing. So if I put something out there and I know it aligns with him, it shall be done, man. It shall be done, period. That's it. This pathway center we about to open in March, man. It wasn't even 6 months ago. I said, yo, we were opening up a pathway center. I did it with Salute Verde. I walked out of a prison one day and I was so inspired. I said, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of that. I tell you what, we're gonna start the Salute First Academy in men. Bro, I didn't know what, bro. You know how many days I thought about taking that post down? Oh man, there was so many days I was like, yo, I don't put my mouth out there. I don't even get on social media like that. I don't went out there and I left it. Go down my page, man. I'm sitting in a car. It's 2000 or something, but you go all the way and then you look at what we're doing now. Same thing with the pathway center. I said, this is what's needed. He's showing it to me. I can see it. This is it. This is it. I want to see high levels of technology in some of the most, disadvantaged areas. I ain't know that. We about to open it up in March though. So that's just where I'm at right now. God is a gangster. He said, try me. Try me. Try me. And I'm going to try him. I'm going to try him.
But you don't, when he says that, you don't think of it in that sense.
You don't think of it like that, bro.
No,
He coming up. He saying, man, try me, cuz. So I'm sitting there gangster enough to be like, what you want to do? But that's the beauty of it. It has to be for the betterment of other people. I'm not asking God to try me for a Bugatti. Yeah. It's a pathway, son. You know what I'm saying? When your values and your morals are aligned. So that's the way that I'm on, man. I got you. That's the way that I'm on.
I got you. How do you teach the young man, because you impact a lot of young men, out there with your speaking. How do you impact them in telling them what is a man? How do you describe that when that question is asked, or even in your own description?
That's a great question, because one of the very first things we do is we separate the concept of a male and a man.
You don't think about that though, because you think it's all together.
But you see it though, because we got a world full of grown-up males. We got very few men. Whatever it is in society you don't like, we responsible. Pick one. Pick one. Child sex trafficking, the twerking pandemic, the opioid crisis, the crack epidemic. It don't matter. When you get rid of skin color, at the end of the day, it's a man on the sticks. Like people would say all the time, man, we need to get these women to lower their values, but we did it. We invest. When the last time you've been on Instagram or social media and you saw somebody got a Birkin for going to law school? When's the last time you've been on social media and you saw a successful woman who opened up her own practice, have her husband come and get her a Rolls Royce? These are the things we invested in. We said you're not worth nothing unless you got a squeaky back. We're communicating this out here in the right. We are responsible. So the first thing is understanding that there's a lot of males out there, but number one, when it comes to a man, is leadership, period. You've been given a certain territory, even if it's just the governance of your own home. You are responsible for that, what you create. You, as a matter of fact, we're teaching you, you're responsible for everybody you encounter. Wherever your feet tread is your territory, your domain. You might not have ownership, but you can have dominion, right? Ownership and control are two different things. So no matter where your feet tread, bro, you are responsible. You're responsible to make sure that woman, that child is safe. You are responsible to make sure that there's order. You're responsible to make sure that there's a sense of peace and harmony. Well, why are you there? So that's the first thing we do, man, is understand your leadership, responsibility, and you have to create. Men were designed to create, and you're gonna always abuse a woman, abuse a child, abuse yourself when you don't have your hands to nothing, because your innate nature is to build. But you're not building that sitting out there on the block. I've been out there. So you try to, you start to build egos and facades and reputations, and but all that comes down to dust is built on sand. So all men have a responsibility to lead, to produce. You're not, your value is not based on what you produce. Your value in life is based on how you operate in harmony with the world around you. That's from nature to your community to your growth. Harmony is what we're supposed to establish and create so that everything else aligns. Boom, that's example. Thank you, Father. Husbandry. Husbandry, if you study it, is about gardening. It's about gardening. You know, God always uses certain metaphors, right? He loves to go to the vineyard or to planters or talk about harvest, because there's so many principles in it. Husbandry, right? So I took my that's gonna work good. So I took my wife down to Daniel Stowe's botanical garden, right? It was a long shot because I knew she liked flowers, because I buy flowers a lot, but I was like, going to look at flowers all day, like, is she really gonna be with the wave? I had a time of my life. We walking through this joint, boy, so many beautiful flowers, and they're organized, and plants and joints that only grow this time of year or every 3 years, bro. It was fire, right? I was like, yeah, I did that. Took her to see some flowers. I ain't got to buy nothing for money, right? Oh my. Take that. No, just kidding. But here's the kicker, though. Not once while we were having that experience, not once while we were taking pictures, not once while we were having those emotional euphoric moments, right? Not once did we ask to speak to the gardener. His fingerprint is everywhere. This is his domain. This is what he created. I know it's multiple, metaphorically, right? But not once did we give thought. We admire the beauty of his creation. That's what it is. We got too many men out there wanting validation and want to be seen, and therefore, when you do that, you only building you. You only praising you. But those husbands, those good men that are behind the scenes and ain't doing a lot of talking. I tell people all the time, don't ask me if I'm a good husband. Look at my garden. Look at my wife. Since I've been in my life. Look at my children. Since I've been in their life, or we had, Kazai and she's too, we had her together. Look at my garden. Look at my mom. Look at my mother-in-law. Look at where I have domain. Look at my partners, look at my team, from rock soul to salute first. Look at everything within my spirit, and then you can judge me. I don't got to sit and tell you I'm a good man, bro. I ain't got to tell you none of that. Look at my garden. And sometimes when I look at men's gardens, I'm looking at your children, I'm looking at your wife, I'm looking at the dynamic between your mother and your mother-in-law. I'm looking at your teammates. I'm looking at your cohort. I'm seeing that you ain't got the green thumb. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I rock, bro. I'm not anywhere, but I'm everywhere. I'm not anywhere, but I'm everywhere.
It reminds me of a good harvest. You know, we work and work.
You got me trying to sit all up. I be slouching, man. I want to hit it with it right, but let me get my pocket.
This is me. But it reminds me of a good harvest. You know, we work and work and work, and at the end, we get to feast on what our hard work has done for us.
What's going on, beautiful people? My name is Prince Workwoman, and I play Jacob in Fatal Seduction, and you guys are watching the Michael Finkley Show.
Are you looking for a show full of joy, comfort, and laughter? Well, watch The Michael Finkley Show, Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the CTR Media Network, YouTube, and all podcast platforms.
Looking for some of the best soul food right here in Mullen, South Carolina? I promise you. Come on down to Garden Alley.
Our great salad's fabulous. Our water gained, our potato salad, our chicken is fresh. Macaroni and cheese is salted to perfection. I haven't found anything that's not right. Best one ever.
Banana pudding, cakes, pies. Yeah. Selection is huge. Garden Alley is an awesome place to eat. I really love it.
Come by and see the amazing staff at Garden Alley, downtown Mullins.
The next phase, family. Your husband.
Indeed, full-grown husband.
You are full-grown husband.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your wife, Fantasia. And again, congratulations to both of you on the movie, The Color Purple, the nominations, everything.
I'm so proud, man.
Definitely. When it comes to being a husband, what has Fantasia taught you that you didn't know going into your marriage?
I'm so glad you asked me that, man. I have spoken in many different atmospheres, and it's always the reverse, and I have to correct it. So salute, man. That woman, man.
You gonna make me cry, sir.
Yeah,
you're not gonna do it.
I love her that much, man. She's rare. She's rare. That's another way I know God loves me, bro. To give me her, that's scripture in itself. But she taught me how to love, man. Shifting between them paradigms we spoke earlier, man, you have to. I master suppression. I don't dwell on nothing. I also, the dichotomy of it is I also have a struggle celebrating stuff. Like I'll do an accomplishment, and the only thing I can think of is how it connects to the next dot.
I read the same, sir.
I don't sit in it and be like, yo,
I'll be like, okay, bet. So now that we close that, now she teaches me to the point she'll go get a bottle and say here, no more to drink. Because I've suppressed my way through life, right? But her love through a lot of different scenarios, man, taught me how to be courageous enough to first let her love on me and then be able to love in return, man. So she taught me what the true essence of what love is in a relationship, man. Like, hands down. And I think the side effects of that bleed out to those that I love as well. So my children get a better father, my mother gets a better son, friends get a better brother. You know what I mean? She cracked that code, man. And that's why I gave her a child, bro. You gotta understand, I'm a man of discipline. I'm gonna say that one more time. I'm a man of discipline. Define. I had my son when I was 15. I ain't had Keziah till 25 years later. I'm a man of discipline. So when we first got married, she wanted a child off the rip. I'm like, no. I get it. Again, I look at the world a little different. Let's let our existing kids jail. Let's build a relationship with them. Let's get out, you know. But I love her so much that when the time, and I told her, you won't be on stage with my baby. We ain't doing that around here. I say, we gonna make sure things are structured. You gonna be pregnant. You gonna sit down. You gonna have what you never had. I'm gonna get what I never got. Like, we gonna, yeah. I'm gonna come back, right? We were sitting in the doc office, man, and we were great do the in vitro trying to suck, because you know how tubes are closed. Oh wow, yeah. Her tubes are closed, man. We was great. We did all the tests and tried to open one and whoop, and it wouldn't work. And we were sitting there, man. We was ready to pay this ticket. You know me. I say, I agreed to do it. I agreed. So imagine, right? I agreed, because there were many times I would come in like she crying. She said on the floor crying. You know what I'm saying? When we're not pregnant, right? My domain. So I agreed. Let's pay for it. See what we got. All right, man. I got up in that office, bro. I'm sitting there just like this, bro. And I said, man, let me interrupt you. I said, nope. I said, we're not gonna do this. I said, God gonna give us a baby the natural way, and He gonna get the glory from it. We're not doing this. My God. Doctor looking at me, wife like, you know what I mean? Feel me? We're talking about that part, like the cost of standing. Right. We got Keziah. And my wife named her Keziah because, so I'm coming back. My wife named her Keziah because she always loved, you know, my favorite book is the book of Job. You know, Job lost everything because that was important. You got, man, there's so much in this, bro. Like, when it comes to her, bro, like, you know how many people she was taking care of when she was up? How could you ever be down? My God. So for her losing everything, man, and having to get herself back up, I tell her all the time, I said, I hate I wasn't in your life, but God makes no mistakes. I said, I wish I could have been by your side that very first time you came back on stage. You know what that felt like, man, after you've been plastered over the news and people who never gave you music that kind of attention, right? That first time you come back out on stage to face the world, man, I wish I could have been there. But anyway, so she wanted to name her Keziah based on the book of Job, and looked up her name and said spicy, whatever. So interesting, a couple of weeks ago, I'm reading the Hebrew context of it, and it says restored to the heart of God. So Keziah's name in Hebrew means restored to the heart of God, which is where we spend. So anyway, so because she loves me so much and I love her so much, I agreed to give her something that I was never willing to get nobody else. When I had my son at 15, I said, okay, this is how this works. I got it. Boom, boom. So think about it, 25 years in between, bro. 25 years, but I love her so much that I was willing to get off how I envision life. What I said it should be structured as to say, let's do it together. Every time I see Keziah's, man, Keziah, you know, it reflects the love that we have with each other. And again, you know, how he restored us back to his heart. Yeah.
And being this husband and compromising and praying and being together, how did you learn to be a husband? Or are you still learning?
Them scripts. See, everybody like, listen, I'm sophisticated enough. I can give you what you want to hear.
I don't want that.
I mean, like more so, like, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna give them what I prayed before we started this podcast today. When we prayed, it was just like, yo, let us get out the way, man, and give you anything of impact and nothing that's an impression. Them scriptures, man, show me how to think, how to handle money, how to manage my emotions, how to gauge different seasons, how to forecast different trends. There's nothing new under the sun. What's old becomes new, what's new becomes old. Ain't cats wearing bell bottoms again? Mm-hmm. What's old becomes new, what's new becomes old. There's nothing new under the sun. Right. So it taught me how to be a husband because it taught me how to be a man. You can't be no husband if you haven't first become a man. You should have built something. That don't mean you gotta be wealthy, but you gotta be able to show that you can build and manage others before you think you can build a family. You've been an employee in the bottom of a basement of a company where you have no human interaction and no responsibility. You think you're gonna go lead a family? No, that's why Adam was hustling before Eve came and pulled up on the block. He was out there getting the coins, making his moves, you know, naming things, his domain. He brought her into his domain. So I'm not here to tell a man you gotta have everything together. Because I both had everything together and then lost everything while being a husband. I've had the code switch. When I met her, I'm saying pretty millions coming in, right? Same time, you know, she go through stuff with her company, I go through with my company, man. I still gotta lead, even though I'm in a season of serving. So I've seen both sides of it. But first you gotta become a man. You gotta become a man. And the scriptures helped, continue to help, continue to chasten me, continue to rebuke me, and keep me corrected. Because where else am I gonna go get it? Where else am I gonna go get it? The news, social media, all that is full of nonsense, man. And it's a distraction to the betterment of somebody else's pocket. No. I didn't have a father where I saw it modeled. I didn't, no. My Father in heaven has guided me every step of the way, man. I think we're doing a pretty decent job. I agree. We about to hit 10 years in a couple months, man. 10 years. I've never done nothing in my life consistently for 10 years versus being a husband. I've never done any, maybe mess up, get high, you know, back in the day, like, you know, from 13 to 20, but putting my hands to something and being committed to it, my marriage is my masterpiece. My marriage will be my masterpiece. Yeah, you're not gonna see Salute rise and see her heart fall. You're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see Salute rise and my kids start being, you know, unruly and you know, because they crying out. No. My family is an enterprise. And I'm gonna make sure everything is in the green. Gotcha. Period. Even if I gotta, boom, pack up, go do what I gotta do to keep us with. Hey, so be it, man. So be it. I can get down anywhere. If I can get down in the jail cell, if I can get down in the crack house, if I can get down in the one office, if I can get down in all, sometimes we forget the beginnings, man. We get too comfortable. That's why we teach too much comfort produces discomfort. Discomfort will always produce comfort. So I embraced them discomfortable places, man. I found myself kind of, I ain't gonna say complaining, but getting real irritable last year. And one thing, I'm like, no, let's just not forget. Let's not forget. Thank you, Father. Let's not forget. Because if I get to a place where I need this and I need that, he can't send me everywhere he needs to send me. Bro, when I go down to Louisiana, man, to do my work, man, I said, let me let y'all know how I rock. Now, there's the travel with his wife, Kim, doing it, and there's the travel, money gonna make sense, Kim, right? When I go down here to do my work, bro, I stay at a Quality Inn. It's $60 a night. I do not cut the TV on. I got a gym membership at the gym across the street, because when I go down there, man, I'm going to work. I'm not trying to be comfortable, because they was putting me up at Oak Alley and all these night classes. And number one, you're spending too much money. You're not thinking about the long game, right? I'm going to cut myself, I'll let you cut me. And two, I'm going to stay focused. Again, paradigms, right? Nah, bro, I don't get this thing twisted, man. When I go on vacation, we do private. We have a great time. Right. When it's time to do my work, man, I want to get down with people. And I'm cool with that, bro. That's why I got my J's on today. We'll do the red bottoms this week with the wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to lose that, man, because when you become a pre God can't use you like that, man. Yeah, I make promises to him. He's been faithful. I desire to be faithful. They say when you respect, I think Tony Evans said, he said, when you honor his godhood, he will bless your manhood. So I'm on a mission to see how much I can glorify and honor my father, man, to see what he's doing in my life for the betterment of other people. I can't lose. Think about it, bro.
Never.
Think about it, bro.
Never.
If you standing up under the Most High and you tell him to make you a river, right, to flow to other people, you ain't gonna get none of them fish. Huh?
Come on.
You know, I can't be in the fish, in the lake fly fishing like they be really. I'm talking about being in the midst of the current. If you in the midst of the current, bro, you gonna have everything that you need as long as they focus. But see, when we start operating out of fear, because we don't know who we are, and we don't love ourselves, because we can't love another individual. If you can't love them, you'll never master relationship management. You know what I'm saying? So then you bound by what's in your pocket versus what's in your temple. Nah, bro, I'm standing right in the midst of a current of the Most High. Me and my wife, bro, I don't mind. You know, because my basket's full. What I'm starting doing is start chucking fish up on the dock, letting them die, being greedy. Like, nah. And that way we can go where we go, bro, and always need security. Because we walk in love, we walk in harmony, we walk in peace, bro. You know how many times I don't go out of the country with my wife? I have never taken security. We talking about it now because she gonna decide to go do some big old movie, you know, maybe some people heard about, right? But I'm talking about the demonstration, bro. I ain't giving off gangster talk. I'm not giving off gangster energy, bro. It's love and it's harmony, bro. We've been in some of the craziest places. I'm talking about down in Dun River Falls. Y'all heard of it. Ain't nothing but 30 Jamaican dudes walking out that joke. And I had a moment, but then I realized like it's all love. And that's what I want, bro. I got you. I want love and harmony again, being at peace. If you give me time, it always comes back, right? Being at peace with the universe around you, man, from nature to people to your family. That's what it's about. And I want to experience that around the globe so that other men can have the same thing, man. There's somebody sitting in the prison cell right now who has a billionaire mentality and capacity. He just needs somebody to spark and provoke him. Because I was the same dude sitting in the jail cell, and 3 years later, I'm a multi-millionaire. From trucking. I can't change on my car to this day. I just realized that moving packages is moving packages. I got you. So that's it, man. I just want more men to understand that and have that. It's not okay, bro. It's not okay for just some of us to be comfortable and to not have to worry about gas prices. And I want as many men as possible to have, because that's when the world becomes a better place, when he can feel like a man and he can take care of his children and he feels safe and, you know, he gets some more exposure. That's how you make the world a better place, man. Show people how to live and do it better than others.
I agree with all that you've done in your life thus far, because you still got more to do.
Oh, yes, sir.
We know that.
Oh, yes, sir.
We know that.
Oh,
Are you
yes,
proud
sir.
of yourself?
I am. How about you? I am, man. I said it for the first time maybe 2 months ago. I was on the phone with one of my dudes, man, and I said, you know what, bro, I'm proud of myself, man. I think I never said it to myself because the little boy in me is always looking for his daddy to say it. That's what we all carry. So I push myself about, you know, not validation, but success and all these different things, because you want somebody to approve that you can ride as a man. And nobody can say it like your daddy. But I had to let that go and realize he been proud of me the whole day. He was proud when he said me out there. Like, I wasn't got kidding. He was proud of me because I called him the name of Jesus. He was proud of me for that. And he gave me the strength to still be here talking to you today. Ain't nowhere I was supposed to make it out that night. It was no way. It's impossible. It's impossible. Dude with a gun to your head and the other one tying your hands. You about high. I don't know how many pills I took that night, and I'm here. I got beat like on, but I'm here. So, you know, for what it's worth, man, yeah, I'm proud of myself because he's been proud of me the whole time. And if he can be proud of me, if he can give me a shot of redemption, if he could put something in me, man, that could make a break, And he can bring me in the world we living in, the type of woman I got. Man, what you think? Where I'm gonna go? I tell people all the time, what I look like cheating when I'm hop in a side chick car, she gonna have a wife in the play with. What I look like, right? How that's gonna feel, right? The truth is, I'm like, yeah, right? But I'm saying, like, if God loves me that much, man, I'm proud that I've done something. That I've done something to earn His love, man. His forgiveness and protection. Other than that, man, like all this stuff fades away. I got Him. You feel me? That's all I've been through. I got Him. Man, they be all right.
Oh man, you gotta come back.
I'll pull up.
You gotta come back.
I'll pull up.
Oh my gosh, I appreciate
it. Was very comfortable.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sometimes I be sweating up on the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thank God that my head don't ball sweat when I be intense. But like I've been measuring that the whole time. I'm very comfortable with your spirit, man. I appreciate the real thoughtful questions, man. Yes, I value that. I'm glad, man. This is like I said, I think it's my first podcast, so let this be the standard.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Let this be the standard.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Appreciate you.
Hey, man, I appreciate you too, black man. I appreciate you too, black man. You know what I mean? I'm on song heroes. Yeah, man, it was an honor, man. Salute.
We're right back, big fans.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ed Piotrowski with ABC 15, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Hi guys, welcome to Awaken. We wanted to serve the city of Mullins. We are church owned, and we felt like a coffee shop was such a huge need in the city of Mullins. There's nowhere for people to just come, get a cup of coffee, sit with friends, maybe do some work on the laptop. And so we feel like it was a service that we could give back to the city. Well, our hope is that people will feel calm, that they'll feel welcome, that it'll be a place where they can come and just clear their mind.
We come here twice a day. That's how good their smoothies, their coffee, their lattes, frappes, delicious. I would love the atmosphere here. If I had time to come and just sit and relax, I would. It's awesome.
One thing that I really love about it being here is just the cozy environment. It's so inviting. I can come in here and I can get my schoolwork done, a good coffee and a good meal. But I'm just really thankful that they're here and that I have a good place to go.
We're open Tuesday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Awaken Coffee Bar, downtown Mullins.
On the next Michael Finkley, founder and CEO of Threshold Entertainment, filmmaker and executive producer Larry Kastanoff is with us. He talks about his new publication, A Touch of the Madness, and Community Spotlight Series, All New Finkley, Monday.
Hello there, my name is Tiffany Bell and I am with Nonprofit CEO. I specialize in helping nonprofits to grow. I had the honor and pleasure of connecting with Tina Ramsay last year through the Success Women's Conference. Since then, I've appeared on her show several times, and as a result of that, I have really been able to connect to some really great entrepreneurs and nonprofit professionals that are part of her network. So for those of you who are not aware, Tina is a certified VCM coach. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, VCM? What does that stand for? But once she explained it to me, I was like, oh, it makes perfect sense. So for anybody that knows Tina, she's all about visibility. She's all about connection, and she's all about helping people create a source of income through monetization. And so, again, Tina is just really good at what she does. If you've not connected with Tina, If you've seen her show or heard her podcast and you're thinking about connecting with her, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. As a result of my connections with Tina, she has helped me with recruitment of speakers for my upcoming event. She's also helped me to recruit several authors for a few of the book projects that I have had the opportunity to produce in this past year. And in all, Tina's just a really great person, that she's genuine in helping entrepreneurs in reaching their goals. So again, if you have not connected with Tina, be sure that you do. The Tina Ramsay Show is definitely a great venue for you to connect with other entrepreneurs, to connect with other individuals that are going to be interested in your service or your project. This is Tiffany Bell. Again, you are watching and listening to the Tina Ramsay Show, and I look forward to being able to connect with you again.
Yeah, when I watched it, because it was part of you, like you said earlier, part of your DNA. So it made.
And why I'm so excited about it, everything that continues to happen and happened before. When I remember how it was, you realize this really is your life. This is not something you went to school and trained for. I mean, I trained for the music part of it, but for the humanity, it's who God trained me for.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
If I get to play the role of Annie Johnson, you won't be able to hit me in the head with a red apple.
Let me tell you, that is powerful in itself. And thank you so much for sharing. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tina Ramsay Show. I am so excited to have today's featured guest, because when I think about making moves and breaking records, captivating audiences all over the world, of all backgrounds, today's featured guest, Melba Moore, is the definition of marvelous. She's the first African-American woman or actress to take over a leading role in the hit Broadway play Hair. She is also the first African-American actress to win the Tony in the category of Best Supporting Actress for her role in Pearly. In addition, she's also the first African-American couple with the amazing Clifton Davis to have a network TV variety show called The Melba Moore and Clifton Davis Hourly on CBS. And who can forget her impressive 5-octave vocal range, creating multiple #1 hits such as A Little Bit More, You Stepped Into My Life, and Read My Lips, having 55 single releases in her impressive music portfolio, and adding to that legacy the beautiful new hit album, Imagine, which is truly a family affair and a true labor of love. Today, Melba Moore, she's not slowing down. She is actually on a project with the iconic movie, Adaptation of Imitation of Life, with the portrayal of Annie Johnson at the Cicely Tyson Theater. And this summer, she will receive a much-deserved honor and the acclaim that she deserved with receiving her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And to think, Melba Moore started off as a school teacher after graduating college. So right now, without further ado, let me just bring her on, the marvelous Melba Moore. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. What an intro. Thank you for having me. Wow, I did all that.
Yes, you did. And that's just some of it.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm just so excited to have you here today, because when I think about ones who breaking barriers, ones who made history, you definitely fit that definition of marvelous. You fit it to a T. And so, although you know, growing up in a musically inclined family, you started off as a school teacher. So what made you transition from school teacher to go into singing and the entertainment industry?
I think quickly, it was in my DNA. My natural father was Teddy Hill. He was a very famous band leader back in the big band days. But he didn't marry my mother. My mother was a single parent until she married my stepfather, who she had a performance group with. And he was a piano player, and a singer, and he had a son and a daughter. So then I had a full family, I had siblings, but he made us all learn how to play the piano. And music became from not being in my life at all to being the centerpiece of our whole family life. Everybody played the piano. All my stepfather's sisters and brothers played the piano or some instrument. So all of a sudden, it was the centerpiece of our lives. And then they determined that I'll put it like my stepfather said. He said, "I want you to get a real job, not like you and like me and your mother, because we never know what our work is going to be from day to day. We want you to have some security." So that's why my sister and my brother and we were all school teachers. One of my brothers was an attorney, but we were all in some kind of intellectual arena rather than performance. That's why we went there. But then at a certain point, I said, "Well, Daddy, that's your dream. It's not mine. So would you mind, helping me to get into the industry? And if it doesn't work, I'll come back and teach." Well, he took me around to some of his agents and booking agents and publishers and different people that he knew. But one of the first people I met, just sitting in the office there, was Valerie Simpson. She had some other business there. And so we just started talking and we exchanged information. And she said, "Well, can you read music?" I said, "I teach music." "What do you mean read music?" No. No, I said, "Yes, I do." But meeting her was my entree into the industry as a studio backup singer. One of the recording sessions that we were booked to do turned out to be for a gentleman, a composer by the name of Galt McDermott. And he was also a keyboard artist, and he was performing his own album of the music from the Broadway musical Hair. He had written all the music for Hair, and he was being assisted by Jim Rader and Jerry Ragney, who were the two stars of the show, but they had also written the book and the lyrics. So they were together doing all the music from this Broadway musical. I had never even been to a play at that point. And nothing in my history or in my life that indicated that I would have anything to do with theater. But the album that he was working on took about 2 weeks to do, because he did all of the music from it. And but at the end of the session, they informed us that they were still casting. And they basically liked the way we sang, and they were looking for strong singers. And what they promised was that if we wanted to, we could go down and sing for the producer and the director. And if we wanted to be in the play, they would make a place for us. So it was not really an audition. Or we were auditioning by singing the backup music, and they were looking for strong singers. But that's how I got my first Broadway show, which happened to turn out to be Hair. Before I left the show, I wound up doing the female lead and replacing Diane Keaton, being the first Black actress to replace a white actress. But it sounds like an accident, but you know there is a God.
Yes.
No accident.
That wasn't an accident. And the thing right now is celebrating its 55th year anniversary on the hit Broadway play Hair. And just to think about how everything fell in place for you. It was already planned out. You just had to go through the motions. You just had to do what you needed to do. And it's just amazing.
Well, it sounds like it was easy, but it was not easy to leave teaching school. No experience in entertainment or in the theater, going against the advice of my parents. There was no one in my environment that said, "Oh yeah, you'll be good at this." Everybody said, "Your mother's a great singer. You'll never sound like her." No one encouraged me. So I was really scared to death.
Wow, the fact that you kept, that just shows the tenacity and the zeal, because you went on your purpose. You knew that even though it wasn't what everybody saw, that you said, "Okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing." And you went through it. And I would like to encourage everyone that's watching to walk your path. Many times parents out of love.
But let me stop you, Tina. I did not know what I was doing. And when people are coming out and they're young and there's nobody around to either teach them or encourage them, they're going to be scared. And so I don't want them to think I knew what I was doing. I was so scared, but I went anyway. So I would say, try to get some friends, try to get somebody to be with you. Don't Don't try to do it by yourself, but please try even though you're scared.
I love that point, because sometimes you have to do something when you're scared, because look at what happened. Now he's celebrating, like I said, the 55th anniversary. That led to other opportunities, such as you're the first African-American woman to win a Tony in the Best Female Supporting Actress category in the hit Broadway Pearly. So even though you say you were scared, you kept on moving, and then it led to other
We are alone. I'm not. Why should I be scared? That every time bear witness, turn on the eye of the female, and for the first time in my life, you know that I'm somebody you live for.
And the winner is Melissa Moore and Pearly.
I don't know what to say. Thank you.
I was just like, wow, like what you was able to do despite of being, afraid. So how did it feel when you was doing all these things? You was so afraid, but you still did it, and then you saw how it just opened up so many other opportunities for you.
Well, it was a combination of excitement, because imagine, I'll start with hair. Being in a Broadway show.
Mm-hmm. That's a mouthful right there.
You see, there it's a real theater. People are coming, they're sitting in the audience, you're looking at this, you're taking this in. And of course, the Broadway show Hair broke all the rules. It wasn't really like a straight play with dialogue. It was a bunch of vignettes that were put together. So it was hard to even figure out really what was going on. It was the first Broadway show that used rock music in the theater. So I was always disoriented. I was always feeling like I was kind of like on another planet or something.
Well,
kind of in a bubble. But what I noticed, like in the Broadway show Hair, it was a loving bunch of people with open hearts and minds. I never experienced that either, not amongst the races.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you were with your culture or with your group, yes.
Yeah.
But I remember as a school teacher, I was not allowed to wear my hair natural.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't want you to think that this was just, a walk in the park.
Oh, no, I don't think that, because with every...
Not you don't, but I mean, the people listening to it, it's such a marvelous story. You think, oh, well, she just kind of floated through. No. No, I think I could encourage people to say whatever kind of education you can get. It doesn't have to be a formal one. Learn as much as you can, because what happened, these things happened because I was well studied. I taught before I got a chance to get on the stage. I'm kind of a late bloomer now because everybody's kind of in my age category. They're still even now much further than because I started so late. But by the time I did start, I was really well prepared. So whatever way you can get some preparation for what it is you're dreaming of, I would encourage you to try to do that, because you get so many surprises. Nobody can tell what life's going to be. But if you learn as much about the basics, about business, about how to count your money yourself, about ABCs, formal education as much as you can. If you can't, then get some mother wit, go to church, learn how to read the Bible, learn as much as you can, because when the opportunities come, you don't have any idea what they're going to be, but in a way, you're going to be kind of prepared.
I love that gem that you just dropped, being prepared and different things that you can do in the now to prepare yourself for it, which is something tangible that all of us can do. You gave us formal education that we can pull through, but if we don't have that, we have the Bible, and be around whatever it is that you desire to be. Go around that type of people to kind of be a sponge to kind of learn what you need to do in order to be prepared, to be able to maneuver. Because like you said, it wasn't easy for you. It wasn't easy for you to do what you're doing, but it can be done. And so
You said it beautifully. You said it so beautifully. Yes.
Wow, like that is powerful in itself. And I love pulling little points and gems like that for the viewing audience, because what we see now is the marvelous Melba Moore.
And thank God for that. I'm not, negating that, but I have an opportunity. You give me the camera and the microphone to make that happen for some other people too.
Exactly.
And I think that's why God gives it to you.
Exactly. And that's why you're a true trailblazer, because a true trailblazer, a person who making a positive impact, is not just thinking about themselves. They're thinking about the people that's coming behind them and how you can make their journey less. They don't have to go through the pitfalls that possibly you had to go through, and the struggles and the challenges, because now you're saying, hey, I wish I would have known XYZ before I did this and that. And so now they can say, wait, I can watch her journey and listen to the words that she's saying, and I need to get prepared, number one.
Right. and also, because you won't have my pitfalls, but you will have pitfalls. Know that. Accept that. And kind of brace yourself and get in shape.
That's
use your skateboard, go skate and do something. Just get in shape, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a fall the other day. It was incredible. The light was out. It was black. I couldn't see. But I'm in shape, so I didn't injure anything as badly as I could, because you will fall.
Yeah, that's part of success. Many people want the success, but they don't realize before you get to the success, it's a whole lot of failing forward that comes that no one sees in order to get to that moment. Okay, and so I appreciate you sharing that with them so they can understand that it's levels to this. It's levels.
Yes.
Multiple levels to this. And so when I think about all the different things and all the different plateaus that you hit, you're celebrating the 50th anniversary of, you're just a woman of so many different firsts, and you're so humble, because you was actually, you and Clifton Davis was actually the first couple to start your own show, your variety show.
First Black couple. Remember racism. Don't forget that.
Yes, the first Black. Let me make sure I go back. The first Black couple to be able to have your variety show called the Melba Moore and Clifton Davis Hourly. I actually watch it, and it's amazing. Okay, and so much talent that went through your show, and all that you was doing, all the different parts that you and Clifton did. It was just amazing, and it was on CBS during a time where you didn't see too many of us having those positions. So how did that feel?
Oh, are my eyes getting big again? It's always exciting to remember that, because it was just so awesome how it happened. First of all, Clifton and I were in love. We were a couple. So imagine that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Melba Moore and Clifton Davis.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first show of the summer season.
And I'd just like to say, I can't really tell you how good it feels to be doing this show with my old lady.
Well, I can tell you it makes me feel pretty great to be doing this show with my old man.
Hey, how about a good luck kiss?
Sure.
Now, you call that a kiss?
Yeah.
That ain't no kiss. A kiss is something that goes wham, pow, makes your hands tremble and your legs go weak.
My kiss didn't do this to you.
Not that one.
Well, what have you been doing, comparing my kisses to somebody else's?
Oh, no, honey, I just...
Well, if you have, I'm going to give you a wham pow that'll make your legs go weak.
Oh, come on now, honey. Now let me give you a Clifton Davis special.
Oh, well, now, honey, not in front of millions of people.
I am not ashamed of the way I feel about you. I have nothing to hide, so lay it on me.
Oh, no, my mama told me about boys like you.
And everybody knows how gorgeous he still is.
You too. What you talking about? What are you talking about? You too.
Well, it was very, very, very difficult because we were both new in television and done that before. We were both new in theater. He was down the street. He started out in the chorus of Hello Dolly, which was then starring, instead of Barbara Streisand, it was starring Pearl Bailey. I want you to get a glimpse of the times we were in. New things exploding like that. And if anybody is young and they don't know even firsthand or so the talent of Pearl Bailey, you got to go Google her and see some of her work. First of all, back in those days, everybody was a dancer too.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hardly walk. You know, I go to the gym so I can walk. But he was down the street in the chorus, but he went from there to the starring role in Two Gentlemen of Verona, one of the starring roles, a Broadway musical. So we were both starring on Broadway at the time, eventually. I'm sure that was probably first. A Black actress and a Black actor, both starring on Broadway. There's just so many things that I can look back now that the dust has settled a little bit and realize and try to put into some detail just how awesome it was.
And I would agree, because looking back on the history, because I'm sure when you was doing it, you weren't thinking about I'm the first or he's the first or we are the first. But now looking back, retrospect.
But Tina, you know what we're thinking about? How do we do this? Because nobody's done it before. I mean, like, and it had to be comedy for a TV show. And I remember Clifton and I were both very sensitive to what was going to be the jokes.
Yes.
What was going to be the comedy? And one of the queens of comedy, Moms Mabley, was our landlord. So you know that's going to be funny right there.
Yeah. I mean, y'all had so many amazing actors and actresses to come along. Yeah. I mean, you guys was a triple hit. You could sing, dance, and act. Like it was just so entertaining. Like right now, I was watching it last night. I was like, this show need to be syndicated to go back on TV to be playing all the time, because it was just so good.
And the fashions.
Yes. Can we not forget the fashions? Like,
excuse me, I got to give credit to her name is Blondie Brown. My hair. Let me just say this. With Blondie Brown doing my hair was ridiculous.
I'm serious. And the beautiful natural, putting all the beauty in the natural hairstyles. I mean, just gorgeous in the outfits. It was just it was like you were doing theater every night, because it was an experience. When I look at each episode, I'm like, oh, look at what the outfit you're gonna wear next, what the hair, you know what dancing you gonna do. Like it's a movement. So it was just great. And so when I think about all those firsts that you was able to accomplish, it's just one after another. It's just so remarkable and incredible to see. But then when we talk about your vocals now, it's very few people on this earth that can, well, a good people can sing, but honey, you can sing. All right, like you can sing.
Tina, can I tell you what you just said? You said I could SANK, sang. That's worse than sang.
No. Up in the neighborhood, that is a stamp of honor, because that 5 octave.
Oh no, I know it is. Thank you.
Listen, that 5 octave range that you have, I just had to pause. Like you have an amazing 5 octave range that everybody, I mean, you're blessed to have one, but you have 5. Okay. And the fact that you was able to win or be nominated for a Grammy, and let me just say some of your song titles, because everybody, And just in case y'all watching this interview and you saying, I know I recognize her, I'm sure you do, because let me say these songs. This is it. You stepped into my life. Ooh, a little bit more. And your Grammy nominated song, Read My Lips, in the category of Best Rock Performance. We got nominated in that, which was very unique because only 2 other Black women was actually nominated in the rock performance category, the best female rock performance, which was Tina Turner and the late Donna Summer. So when you think about that, like, listen, like, it's only 3. It's Melba Moore, Tina Turner, Donna Summers. I mean, listen. Wow. How does that feel?
Well, I'll try to be nice and say I'm just honored to be in the same category. And everybody knows the work of Tina Turner. Everybody knows the work of Donna Summer. So, I'm not being show business. I mean, that's ridiculous to be in that category. And then, of course, it was the category of rock. It wasn't even R&B.
Yes, rock.
So, I mean, I'll just say I'm honored. But as you can see, I'm very explicitive. I'm explosive. I don't know. I'm just excited.
I'm saying, and the fact that it was, like you said, it was rock. I mean, traditionally we'll know R&B, different stuff like that, but to be in a category like that, and it's just amazing to be Grammy nominated. So I love it. I listen to, like, I'm a fan myself, just in case you didn't know. I know exactly who you are and what your portfolio brings to the table. I'm like,
thank you.
Woo! It's just amazing. So you didn't stop there, Melba. What you decided that you're going to take it to yet another level, and you created, or I should say, it's a family affair, a labor of love, going into create another hit album called Imagine. So what made you decide to say, okay, I'm going to work with my family and we're going to do this album, Imagine? What was the thought behind this hit album, Imagine?
Well, I have several independent projects out that are successful. And D Nice has been really very helpful in bringing attention to youth steps in my life and some of the dance, Love's Coming At You, and some of the dance songs that are classic. But we were all shut down for 2.5 years during COVID. So nobody wasn't doing nothing, really. And during that time, my daughter brought me some songs and said that her Uncle Bo had thought that these would be good for me. Well, her Uncle Bo is my ex-husband's brother. So needless to say, our construction wasn't quite the same since we're divorced. But I listened to the songs, and she brought me quite over the period of 2 years. She brought me about 20 songs altogether. And so I listened to them all, and then eventually I said, okay, well, they're wonderful, but I don't even know if they're good for me. And now I'm listening for myself. I'm not listening with my A&R team. I'm not listening with somebody who's going to help me see the music from outside of me. Well, that's what I thought. Then I listened to the music. I said, well, wait a minute. Uncle Bo and his brother gave me all my hits. They know what's a hit for me. And so she said, well, Uncle Bo thinks you should start trying to go in the studio and see what comes out. So that's how it began. And I did one by one. And then she and her Uncle Bo and his brother, my ex-husband, listened to the music, listen to the music, and put it into a sequence and gave it back to me to listen to it. I said, that's wonderful. Who is it? Because really, it sounded beautiful. It sounded fresh. It sounded serene. It had a beautiful energy. But the music was different than I guess I was listening outside of myself. So it just sounded different, but it sounded wonderful. And then my daughter said, Mom, that's you.
Yes.
They had sequenced it and everything. Probably if I had sequenced it, I don't know, but they know how to do that. I never did that. They always did. So basically what I saw, I had my team back.
Wow. Well,
so
congratulations.
I said, okay, now what do we do? I said, because we don't have a label. We don't have, none of us are in the same positions that we were before. So after talking about it, we realized it was time to pass the baton on to her. You brought this to Mom. You see me in a different way. You see me in a way that they see me also. So this should be a family project because it could be a good professional project because everybody in it are experienced at having success, not just my success, except my daughter, Charlie, because she's new. So now it's her turn for us to counsel her and for us to tell you what only the next generation can tell you, how it is, what the organism is of now, and how you fit in and who you are now. Anyway, that's how it came about.
I absolutely love it. And I have to talk about this topic here because you are on another project on the remarkable, iconic movie. We all can remember Imitations of Life, but this is the adaptation of the Imitation of Life, and you're going to be portraying the maid Annie. Oh, listen, I watched this movie. It brings tears to my eyes, but also it brings you back to that time, and it polarized what we're going through still in the now, which is the sad part about it. But how does it feel to be able to be doing that iconic role and putting the marvelous Melba on it?
Well, in so many ways, I feel like God's hand is definitely on it because the role is of a maid. That's what I got a Tony Award for in Pearly, playing a maid. The other thing is, because my mother was away all the time performing, I was raised by an orphan. She wasn't even raised by sharecroppers. She was shuffled from one family to the other, or from one farm to the other. And somehow she made her way up north and worked for families. That's how my mother hired her. But I was imitating her when I was doing the role of the maid in Pearly. That's my point. So, I was so good, they thought I should have a Tony Award. They thought I was acting.
You did deserve it.
So I guess my point is that I feel, first of all, very comfortable.
Yes.
In the character, in the person of Annie Johnson. I feel like I know her person. That's who I was raised by. Someone whose only identity came forth when she was taking care of somebody else's identity. And she's standing between the mother and the daughter, and she's saying, well, your mother means this, she means that. Your mother's not here, I take her place. You fill up the void of the family. That's what the nanny does. That's what the maid does. I feel like I know her spirit. Not so much just Annie Johnson, but that person. That's who I am, kind of. I hope that's why I still have my humility.
Yeah, that's powerful that you actually was able to pull from your real life and your experiences to be able to convey Pearly for the Broadway play Pearly. That's why it was so believable and felt so real, because it was your life. I never knew that. And
see, and you're giving me an opportunity to say that, and I'm so sure the people who commissioned me to do the role of Annie Johnson, they don't know that.
Wow, that's powerful.
So, but God knows it.
Yeah, that's
so
why.
Once again, I don't think it's not an accident.
No, that's not an accident.
But it is. It's extraordinarily unusual for someone to call, because right now I'm mainly known for singing, to invite me to do that role. I think it's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary.
To get the opportunity.
It is. And the fact that you was able to pull, it was like your life was preparing you for these roles. Like,
yes, you're saying it.
It prepared you. Now I understand why you hit me right here when I watched it, because it was part of you, like you said earlier, part of your DNA. So it made.
And why I'm so excited about it, everything that continues to happen and happened before. And when I remember how it was, you realize this really is your life. This is not something you went to school and trained for. I trained for the music part of it, but for the humanity, it's who God trained me for.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
If I get to play the role of Annie Johnson, You won't be able to hit me in the head with a red apple.
Let me tell you, that is powerful in itself. And thank you so much for sharing. But with all that being said, Melba, and I love to say marvelous because, honey, you earned that in the definition of marvelous. Even though you humble, I can brag on you. So this summer, you're actually going to receive one of the biggest honors that an actress, a singer, they look forward to. And some don't even get to achieve or even have this, but you, God's plan, you're going to be able to this summer be able to have your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
It's like everything is going full circle. So I know you're excited.
Oh, absolutely. I don't really have proper words for it. I can just say this, having my nose to the grindstone and trying to figure out what's going on from step to step, and especially trying to figure out what is your life's purpose for. It never occurred to me to even dream of something like the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I didn't even get to that part yet. So I'm going to make sure I write speeches and stuff because I don't have words for how I feel about what I know the importance of this is and the accomplishments people have made that I'm not going to get this opportunity. And that, of course, it didn't happen just for me. It costs a lot of money, so people are paying into it. There's a lot of rules and regulations that you have to go through. Many, many, many people have come together and helped me to have this. And I'm going to include as many as I can think, or many of the parts, if not all the people. I might not be able to name all the people that participate in me being able to do this, but as many of the parts as I can, so I can actually physically, respectfully acknowledge what it took to have this, because it is extraordinary.
It is. And congratulations on all of your past, present, and future successes, because I know that you're not slowing down. You're going to keep on going, and I'm going to keep on watching. And I thank you for being such an inspiration to not only little Black girls from all over, but women and girls in general, because when I see you, I knew that I could become, if that makes sense. Okay. And so this is the media industry, and its representation is important. So the marvelous Melba, I'm going to say that, honey. Say your name, okay? Melba,
I'll receive it. I'll receive it. Thank you, Tina.
I want to thank you personally for what you're doing, what you're continuing to do, and you just don't know how many people you're inspiring, including myself and so many people that's going to be watching. So thank you, and congratulations on your star. Congratulations on all your number ones. And I love your the Imagine album, and tell your wonderful daughter, Charlie, amazing job on the album. And so, and just keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. I can't believe the adaptation, the imitation of life. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. And so, to wrap this up, what do you want people to remember the most about you? Because you're an actress, you're a singer, you are a figure of history. But what do you want all of us to remember about you?
I care about people. And I think God rewards you for that. And I know we're talking about God, but I'm a born again Christian, so that's all I know. Okay.
I'm a Christian, so I don't care. Go ahead.
So out of all the things that you get a chance to show off in the front of the camera and to look pretty and to be healthy and to keep yourself in shape, I want them to know I care. I want to set a good example, and I want you to do the same thing with you. And I hope I inspire people to be the best that they are.
Well, that is so true. One person went down to say, you can say a lot of things, you can do a lot of things for people, but the one thing that a person will always remember is how you made them feel. And let me say this. The marvelous Melba Moore makes us feel good. You make us feel good. So thank you for all your contributions to our history, and for you continuously just pouring into us, not just as an entertainer, but as a person, as a human being that just want to see all of us win too. So thank you for giving us the roadmap. I appreciate it. So thank you for being on the Tina Ramsey Show. And
thank you. I hope you know I enjoyed this very much.
Got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Listen, if anybody's interested in getting into podcasting, grab this book. Go on Amazon, grab this book. It goes with me almost everywhere. This book has like a workbook. It has places you can fill it in. It tells you how to monetize your podcast. It tells you how to set it up. It tells you about sponsorships. It even, listen, go on Amazon and get this book. And this is the Bible for podcasters. Listen, it was ranked #1 in podcasting books. Look right here. Best new podcasting book by Book Authority. Right there. Boom. And a little secret. Y'all, when you grab this book, I think it's page 43. There is a code on there. Listen, you can get access to her class, her course. Get her course. It's worth hundreds of dollars. But this book is it's less than $50. Grab this book on Amazon. I'm telling you, I carry it everywhere. She is the best. Grab this book on Amazon.
So what was the one thing I knew how to do? They said, what's the thing you do the best? And I said, take care of others. They said, great, that's a babysitting service, and we've got some other kids at home, so you can watch them. So how much do you want to charge? I said, I don't know, $5? They're like, absolutely not. It should be at least $50. I'm like, $50? And as time went on, $50 became $100, became $200. By the time I left, I was $300 an hour. And because the demand was so great by other families that wanted a trusted person to leave their little children with, I wound up hiring 15, 17, maybe at one point even 18 college friends of mine to do the same thing. And I got a percentage of everything that they did. Years later, we sold that business to a Swiss company. And that's when I learned what real money was really about, that it wasn't how much you could earn, it was how much you had the ability to have others earn that are in your structure. And that's a lot about how business works. How do you multiply yourself? How do you multiply the work? How do you multiply the money? And that is something, unfortunately, we're just never taught, right, in school. We're taught to do what in school? Come on, say it with me. Become an employee and work for someone else. That's the American structure. So to step out of that, you've got to do something different, something unique, something fascinating, something that they don't teach you in a classroom. And that is what we are here to do. We're here to teach each other about the things they're not teaching you in school, because then you'd go out and be a successful business owner rather than becoming an employee for someone else. So what was the challenge for me? The challenge for me is I didn't know that there was an alternative other to being an employee, i.e. becoming a business owner. And it took someone to tell me, to show me, to implement it for me to accept that I can do this. And a lot of what we do with Dominionaire Life is that we teach each other how to do the things that we don't know how to do to become successful business owners. We have a host of training with regard to how we do that. I handle the law. Why? Because it is my heritage. 14 generations of my lineage were both priests and lawyers. I am not a priest, but I am a lawyer. And my gift is I have the ability to process that information that we call legalese and make sense out of it for others and create processes for you to be able to benefit from the law. We call it legal training within Dominionaire Life, and I run that division in terms of protecting your original ideas. We call that intellectual property. We are the only country in the world that in our Constitution, the US Constitution, we put in that every man has the right to protect their creative original ideas. We call that copyright. It is the right to copy. You have the right that is given to you by the federal government, and you can give others permission, transfer that right for them to copy your stuff. We call that licensing. So I train on these things within Dominionaire Life. And we have other fabulous people that train on money in terms of your finances, that train on mindset in terms of getting your mind right. And I say that not to be funny, but to acknowledge that oftentimes there are things that we see or that people teach us that just leads to nowhere. It leads to you being sad. It leads to you being demoralized and not being confident. So what do you do in those moments? So when we came together, when amazing Steve and Scott and we came together, it was to build something different, something that would empower individuals and families to dream again. We stop dreaming. We just go to work. And the ability to dream is so powerful. The ability to see what is not immediately in front of us, but it is coming, is amazing. And when I was a little girl, there was a song that I absolutely adored that helped me dream bigger dreams, even though I had nothing. And that song, and if you know it, come on, sing along with me on this one. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. And they do. We've stopped believing in our dreams because we've had so much failure that we don't think our dreams are valuable. So that leads me into my first V. V1, you have value. You don't have to believe me. It says so in the holy book. You are so important to our Father. So lovingly, He created you. And somewhere while we are living our lives, we fall into the trap of believing that we're not valuable, which is a fallacy. It's wrong. It's incorrect. But we believe it nonetheless. You are valuable. You are so important to Him. But you've got to believe in yourself as well. I can tell you as much as I want to every day how valuable you are, but until you believe it, it'll never take root. It'll never be grounded. And sometimes you need to surround yourself with good people. So Steve, Scott, myself, we are good people. We value on doing good, which is why I'm Liddy, the good lawyer, because there's some bad ones out there. I know, please don't start saying, I know. I've experienced some myself, and I choose to do good. I choose to use the power and leverage of the law to do good and not evil. That's a choice each of us has. So your value is important. We need your value in the world to elevate our human existence, to do some good for others. How can you do it? As simple as giving a sandwich to someone who asks, as simple as working on your business to really make it successful, as easy as attending training so you empower yourself with knowledge so you can be a resource and a value to others. So value, you have it, share it. My second V that I love so much is vision. What is our vision? What is the vision that you have for yourself, for your family, for the world, for your business? Only you know that vision. And one of my favorite sayings from the Bible, from Habakkuk really, is when God told one of the prophets to write the vision and make it clear upon tablet so those that read it can run with it. For the vision is not for now, but it is for the appointed time. Wait for it. It shall come. And when I first read that, I had no idea what that meant, right? So write the vision and make it clear on tablet. What tablet were they talking about? I guess back then it was clay tablets. They baked them, they put a little pencil mark. I mean, I can't read the Egyptian hieroglyphics. But isn't it interesting that we have a product now that's called a tablet? Actually, I'm taping this video on a tablet. Isn't it interesting that centuries ago that God talked about make it clear upon tablet, and here we are in the year 2022, and we've got tablets that we make things clear, video, right? Isn't it amazing? Isn't it powerful that our all-knowing God knows these things? So the vision for you is to write it, create it, bring it forth from your spirit, the thing that touches you the most, because that is your gift and it's meant to be shared. It's meant to be clear on tablet. So those that see your vision can run with it. Ah, isn't that beautiful? That even though you created, others can see it as well and will know what to do with it. That is vision. My third V that I want to share with you today is about visibility. I am horrible with visibility. People are shocked when I say that, but I don't do all the things that I should be doing with regard to putting my vision, my value out there for the world. I'm not really that visible. I'm not really on social media. I struggle with that, but I've asked Dr. Tina Ramsey to help me with that. So she said, great, Liddy, we're going to give you a podcast and we're going to give you a streaming television show. And by the way, her CTR media network reaches like something like 350 million people around the world. I'm like, what? This is my client and she's now telling me. So, and I spoke to Steve about it recently, and we're going to do some more visibility with Tina. With Dr. Tina. When I first met her 2 years ago, she was Coach Tina. And I said, girl, go get your degree. And 2 years later, she is Dr. Tina. I love it. I absolutely love it. See the vision. And she is such a wonderful spirit. And I mention her specifically because visibility is something that we could all strive to have more of. And it's important to have it with good people that care about you and care about the message that you bring to the world and care very much about making sure that we're adding value to the world. And I love working with my sisters of faith. It is simply a powerful presence to be in when we come together and create amazing things. So your visibility, is it that you speak? Is it that you write and you publish? Is it that you are on Facebook or on YouTube? Get it out there. Let people know that you are here. And again, I do a horrible job at it, but I admit that freely. I need to do a better job. But I can imagine that many of us need to do a better job of being visible and sharing what we stand for, sharing what will help with what we need help with and what we will help others with as well. So visibility is one of the areas that I think is very important for us to focus on a little more. And there are tools out there and people out there that make it easy. And my last V for us is valor. And when I say valor, people often say, oh my God, what is Dr. Liddy talking about? Well, for me, the simplest definition of valor is courage beyond knowing that you will succeed. It's the confidence that you step forward, not knowing where the next step is going to take you, but knowing that you have to take the step. It's trusting in God that your steps are guided and measured, and you are courageously walking into any situation, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that the Spirit of God infuses everything that you do, and that you are valiant. You stand for good. You stand for good people, for good things, for good knowledge. You take a position that you do not back down from because it's yours. It's your vision of what can be. And there's a whole army that stands with you, good people around the world that support that valor that you have. Understand when I say valor, oftentimes you're going to walk alone. I know I say you will have an army, and then I said, what? You're going to walk alone. Well, the army will come, but they'll only come when they are convinced that you are convinced that you will stand strong in your courage. Then they come forward. So if there are things that you care deeply about, stand for them. If there are people that you want to support that others are not supporting, support them. And know that your presence of standing firm in that belief will show the way for others to stand with you. So my work around the world focuses primarily on what I've shared with you. I use law to bring value to people. I use the law to bring vision to people because they don't know what they don't know. They can't see what they don't see. I use law to bring visibility. I argue cases in court. I do arbitrations. I also set up businesses. And I help people to sell them and fund them. I do all that fun stuff for me, but I know that I do these things because I saw my father do these things for others. So we are all part of a lineage. There's a history that comes with us, whether we know it or not. It comes with us, and it is imbued in our very self structure to make us who we are today. Good or bad, it is who we are. And valor. So much of what is happening or what happens to us is without valor. No one courageously steps up on our behalf. You have to be the person that steps up on your behalf and behalf of others that you care about and causes that you care about. And which is why I love Dominionaire Life, because so many of us, Steve, Scott, myself, we stand up for others and each other. And that's a beautiful collaboration to have, knowing that you're not alone, that you're never alone. You've never been alone, and you never will be alone. Just because you don't see people doesn't mean they're not there in spirit and support of you from miles and miles away. So I share these things with you because I want you to know that you are important in the plans that unfold for your business, for your family, for our futures. And I want you to know that Dominionaire Life was created for people just like you that wanted a different way of life, that didn't want to worry about money because you're working on your business and that's bringing you the money, because there's training for you to learn and excel, because there's good people that have come together to say, let's band together to make a difference in this world for other people. And if you can hear me, then you know that what I am saying is true. You know that there's a vibration when people are doing good things, right? Some people get hot, some people get trembles. I get happy. I love it when people do good things, and it hurts me when I can't help everyone. And I know that. So I choose, right? When things come in my path, will I help? And if I can, I do. And sometimes I simply can't, not because I don't want to, but because I don't know how. And I think that's a lot of us, right? We don't know how to help sometimes. So I want to share two thoughts. One is the Mayans have an ancient saying that says, if it is to be, then it is up to me. If it is to be, then it is up to me. And I've adopted that as my own personal philosophy. I'll go first in many situations, not knowing sometimes what the end will be or not knowing exactly what to do, but to know that my presence is important. And I'm so sorry that I can't be with you today. If it was anything other than a medical situation in my family, I would be on the ground with you, as I like to say, boots and stilettos on the ground. But I will be there next time. And I am here now. I'm not far away. I'm a phone call, I'm a text message. Oh, by the way, text message, I meant to share with you. I promised that I would give a gift to you. So on your cell phone, if you send a text to 26786, 26786, and if you type in the word law, LAW, I have a gift for you. It's an infographic of a copyright, meaning it's a picture of what the copyright process looks like. I am adamant about all of us copywriting our original creative ideas because they're good ideas that are worthy of protection and monetization. But the monetization part is for another discussion with you. So I want to say that I believe in you. I believe that there's a pathway for all of us that leads to goodness. And that means locking arms with each other at times and stepping out on our faith and strongly declaring that we are people of faith, we are people of God, and we believe in good business for everyone. I am Dr. Liddy, the good lawyer, and may you always remain as blessed as you are now. Until we meet again, please stay safe.
Good morning. I just want to encourage you to always be positive, regardless of what's going on in your life. Always think on the positive. So today I challenge you to pick, what are your two positive affirmations? What are two things that you want to say to yourself to keep yourself going in the midst of everything? Because we know when we get close to our breakthrough, all kind of things start happening, right? I mean, goodness, from your car breaking down, your child don't want to act right, just all kind of things, right? And so in those moments, I challenge you, don't give up. Come up with some positive affirmations that are going to help you and push you to say, you know what, I got this. I am who God has called me to be. Today is a great day, no matter what. Whatever the case is, just I challenge you to be positive, focus on the positive, and you will come out on top. Don't get so caught up on those who seem like they're not doing right. Just continue to focus on yourself and do what you know that you have been created and called here on earth to do. So if you want to stay in connection with me, go to focusyoursuccess.com, download 11 ways to overcome mental health challenges.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thought for Thursday. I hope we're all doing good. Let me start out right away by apologizing for being late, for starters. And secondly, I'm late because I'm having trouble over on the Instagram side. So if you're looking for me over on Instagram, I'm not there. Okay. But I promise what I will do is once we record this, I will go ahead and put it over on the Instagram side. I hope that you guys are doing good. It's a great short week and we're almost at the end, y'all. Come on, that's something to celebrate, right? Absolutely something to celebrate. Well, something else to celebrate, or something else at least to talk about, is the fact that we're talking about a topic that really is important, something that affects everybody. You all know that you are my niche, you are my 45 plus group. So I definitely approach things in perspective of you and your age group and trying to determine exactly, what's going on. What are some things that you need that are going to be able to help you to get to the next level? And a part of understanding what it is that you need, we also talk about the things that you don't need, right? Because in order to be able to fix things and to make sure that we have things going in the right direction, we have to do the things that we know are going to help us. And in order to do that, we really do have to make sure that we understand some of the things that are hurting us, right? That's very important. Understand what is hurting us. And something that hurts so many people, and something that we all struggle with, and I'll tell you, it was a huge struggle of mine. And I'll be honest, I still have issues with it. It's people pleasing. What is people pleasing? People pleasing is really a pattern that we all follow when we are so dedicated, so concerned, so determined to help others, so much so that we often do it to the detriment of ourselves. Yeah, I think we're all guilty of it to some extent. However, people pleasing, that is done because we want to be accepted. We want to be loved. Some people still operate under the idea that everybody is going to like them. And if they don't, well, why not? What is wrong with me? Not realizing that everybody isn't going to be pleased with the way you look, with what you do, with how you act, with where you work, with who you're married to, with who your family is. Yeah, you name it. People are going to be upset about something and they're not going to be pleased with you. They may be jealous of what it is that you do. Come on, let's just face facts. It's the truth. They could feel that you are doing things that maybe they want to do. They may feel that you feel a certain way about yourself and you're really not all that in a bag of chips. It could be any number of reasons why people are not going to be pleased with you. And the quicker we accept that, the quicker we understand that, the better off we'll be. Because our goal is to be ourselves, to be the people that God has designed us to be. Now, in being ourselves, of course, we want to stick to our values. We want to stick to the things that we know are right. So we want to be the best version of ourselves. And if we are being that, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever to feel guilty about who we are. So I wanted to say that up front. And if you can tell, yeah, it's something that I'm passionate about because I hear it so often. And I hear it so often with the women that I coach. They kind of mask it by saying, I want to be there for people. I want to do things for people. Well, why is it that you want to do that? Well, I feel a responsibility. In many cases, it is that. But in some cases, it's just the fact that they don't want the person to be unhappy with them, or they don't want people to feel as though they're not giving, or they don't make accommodations. So how is it that we can love ourselves for who we are, how we are, what we do, what we think, and not be so concerned with how others may perceive us that we are going out of our way to create some acceptance for ourselves, all right, to the detriment of ourselves. How is it that we do that? Now, don't get me wrong. It is perfectly fine to feel an obligation to support someone, to help someone. That is perfectly fine. But if you are doing that in response to wanting to be liked or wanting to be loved, that definitely points to something bigger. That definitely points to an area where you need some support around. So, are you one of those people? Do you feel that you are a people pleaser? So much so that you have done so much people pleasing that you have dreams, goals, aspirations that you have put on the back burner for a very long time in order to make sure that everyone else is accommodated and happy. You've succeeded in having a lot of people like you, all right? And that is important to you. But is it really important to, as far as you not getting where you want to be or doing what you want to do or having what you want to have? Again, to the detriment of you. And hopefully, in thinking about this and listening to some of what I'm saying, and perhaps just doing some reflective sit down time with yourself, figuring out what you want to do and why you haven't been able to do it. And if you see that some of the reasons why you haven't been able to do that is because you've spent most of your time making sure that other people's needs are met, other people's wishes are being met, then maybe you do need to sit back and look. Not because you feel that you need to do this, but if you're doing this because you just want everybody to love you. You don't want anybody to look negatively at you. Know that you are fine and you can't be so concerned with how everyone else perceives you, as long as you know that you are doing the right things, going in the right direction, being the person that God wants you to be. All right, so you say, okay, you've been talking about this for a minute now. What is it that we can do? A huge piece of people pleasing is so simple, and it's such a simple, quick way to get around feeling that you have to do everything, feeling that you have to be everywhere, feeling that you have to oblige with something just because you don't want somebody to look at you negatively. And it really is as simple as saying no. I know, such a small word, such a quick thing to say, and causes us so much pain. Because we don't want people to feel like we're not there. We don't want people to feel a certain way about us because we are telling them no. So it's so much easier to just say yes. So how is it that you can begin to focus on saying no when it is appropriate? No isn't appropriate for everything. But in the case of people pleasing, where you just want people to like you, you really need to get used to the word no. So how do you do that? All right. Some self-awareness. I talked about that already. First of all, you got to realize that you're dealing with the issue. Recognize the behavior. Identify when and where there's some people pleasing going on. All right. Sit back and take a look and figure that out. Journaling can also be a useful tool, even if it's you just journaling your regular day's activity, putting in there things that you've done, places you've gone. Look for patterns across the journaling. When is it that you wanted to do something that you've set aside to do for yourself and really haven't been able to do it? Why is that? Is some people pleasing in some way involved in why you're not reaching those goals or getting those things done? And in doing that, it's important for you to understand the root cause, which is what I just said a few minutes ago. Understand why it is that you want to say yes to far more things than you should say yes to. Yes to being on that planning committee. Yes to heading up something for the 15th time, knowing you have absolutely no time to do it unless you infringe upon some me time or you infringe upon some family time. What is it that you want to do? Doing that extra work, doing somebody else's work for them because you want them to see you in a positive light, work that they really should be doing for themselves. I see this and hear this a lot with people in on their jobs, been in their careers for a while, and feel that it's really okay to do the work and let somebody else take credit for it, as long as the person that they're doing the work for is pleased with them. Well, you may want to look at that too, because you're building their dream. But in the meantime, what's going on with yours? All right. Set some boundaries. That's so important. It might be hard for you to say no. So to counter that, set some boundaries so you don't always have to say it, so that people won't always come to you. Now, that may take some time, particularly if you've been people pleasing for a while. It may take some time for people to realize, okay, I really can't always go to her. I always can't go to him and ask for these things. I really need to focus perhaps on getting some of them done myself. All right. What else? Practice saying no. Yeah, that sounds kind of silly, doesn't it? Practice saying no. Start with the small things and then progressively practice turning down requests or tasks that aren't aligned with personal needs or value. And that's big. If what you're doing really doesn't involve your values, that's huge, or doesn't align with your values, there's more than one reason why you shouldn't be people pleasing, right? What else can you do? Self-care. Realize that if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be there to tell anybody no, yes. You're not going to be there to tell yourself yes. And it's going to be no by default, because you will be run down and you won't have the capacity to take care of anyone else, and mainly yourself. So self-care is a huge catalyst, is a huge incentive for stepping away and pulling back from people pleasing so much, and adhering to some of these tools that I'm talking about to help you to say no. You've got to value your self-opinion. Give weight to your feelings and needs and opinions. Your feelings, they're valid, they're important. A lot of the people-pleasing syndrome really does encompass some self-confidence issues and self-awareness. Of course, I already said that. And just feeling as though you are not capable, you are not enough. And for this reason, you need validity from others. And nothing could be further from the truth. You are fine just where you are. You are designed the way God has designed you to be, and you are enough, no matter what that enough may look like. Your enough may not look like the next person's enough, but that doesn't mean you aren't enough. All right? So make sure that you remember that. I talk about this all the time. I even have cards that support it. Affirmations. You may need to start telling yourself on a regular basis who you are, what you're capable of, what you're designed to be, what it is that you can do, what you're good at. Remind yourself of the accomplishments that you have made. Remind yourself of what's important to you and the things that you want to do. All of this to help you to realize that you have value, and your value isn't in someone else's approval of you. Your value isn't in someone else's approval. And since it's not in their hands to approve you, their approval doesn't determine your value. Therefore, it's okay if you tell them no and they really feel some kind of way about it, because you're turning them down to take care of you. That's really okay. And then I also invite you to kind of look at that person who is looking at you cross-eyed because you've told them no after you've told them yes for I don't know how many times. Or if you've told them no because you genuinely cannot accommodate the need, and they feel and they look at you in a negative way. Well, then is that someone that you really want to be able to validate you anyway, if they're not going to look at you in a positive light? Something to think about. You may need some support for this. Let me tell you, get a coach, get a mentor. It may be so deeply rooted, you may need counseling to be able to get above and rise from this thing. It is a very real and a very deeply planted tool that can be used to your demise. Does it sound like I'm really making big of it? Yeah, I am. Because it is the small thing that can fester and grow and grow and grow and really destroy your dreams, destroy who you are, destroy how you feel about yourself, and run you into the ground as you're running around doing everything and not doing the things that are really, really important to you. So you may need that support. Don't hesitate to get it. And something else, and I will leave off with this: celebrate the small wins. You've been people pleasing for a long time. It's not the easiest thing to just stand up to somebody and say no. It's not the easiest thing to say that you're not going to take on that project that's going to have you committed for the next Wednesday and Friday of every week for the next year. That you're not going to spearhead that thing that you know nobody else is going to take up if you don't say yes. Don't feel bullied into doing it. That you're not going to go ahead and organize or orchestrate a plan that you have orchestrated for years upon years, because you haven't been able to say no. And you know you have it perfected. Feel okay in finding someone to take that over for you, and then feel the relief of releasing that burden. Yeah, we can get real stuck in that, feeling like we have to do it because we're good at it. Well, just because we're good at it doesn't mean that we have to do it all the time. Check in to find out if that's really going to align with what you need to do, where you need to be right now, and the things that need to happen in your life in order to get you to that fulfilling life that you desire to have. All right? So that's it. Getting over people pleasing can be done. Saying no can be done. If you say no, you will still have value. If they don't look at you as though you have value, well, then that's okay. That person never recognized your value in the beginning. Think about that. They never recognized your value in the beginning. You have a lot to offer. You're going to have plenty of yeses that you're going to say for the right things. One yes and being committed to doing something this week doesn't mean you have to do that same thing every week. Weigh what it is that you say yes to. Choose your best yes and be happy about it. Much of what you do, pray through, or all of what you do, pray through, so that you can make good decisions. Decisions, yes, that are going to help you to help others, but also help you to help yourself. Again, get to that life where you are thriving. All right? So some tips for saying no. Make sure you celebrate those small wins. Little things. I said no today for the first time in 2 years to doing something. You know, that's a big celebration. I said no to, I said no to driving everybody to the PTA meetings like I've been doing for the past year because I didn't intend to go tonight. Another example. All right. That was my example. I haven't had a PTA meeting in a little while, but you get the gist of it. All right. Listen, you guys go. Oops, dropping my camera. You guys go and have a great rest of the evening. Have a great weekend. It's been a short week. Spend some time on you as you come across the weekend, as you come up to it. Know that you are enough and that a good friend, a good family member, a good boss, a good cousin, you name it, they can take a no and they will love you no matter what. All right? That's it, guys. Have a great one. Bye.
Want to talk to them and for parents to share this with their children because it's important. But I've heard kids say, and I don't want to say kids, I want to say teens say, well, because they really love me. They care. They're jealous. right? They just a little jealous because, I'm so special to them and they love me. How do you respond to that? Because I hear it all the time and they justify that behavior.
So a lot of that has to do with unresolved childhood trauma. And so parents, if your child is saying that they think that is love, you need to do a self-reflection because something happened, transpired for someone to feel that that is love. And that doesn't mean that it's too late. That means that you need to get into action. Counseling is essential. Dealing with the unresolved stuff, especially in the Black community. We have to stop putting a stigma on counseling. I love counseling. I always tell people, you have to start dealing with your stuff. Because if you don't, you're going to be an adult and you're dealing with crap. And I do a whole separate workshop on adults trying to date. And I have one coming up with, Bumble, talking about safeties of dating. And a lot of times you have a lot of hurt grown people out here who miss that dealing with the childhood trauma. And now they're grown and they're trying to get in these dating relationships. And you're like, what's going on with this person? So parents, if your child is thinking that this person is doing all these negative things that are really, really bad, and they feel like that's love, that's a sign that they really need to be into therapy and really understand what love looks like. And whatever is going on in that home, or it may not be currently in the home, you may be in a great, healthy relationship, but maybe their father was abusive while you were pregnant. A lot of people feel like because the child is really young, they're not affected. And I'm here to tell you that the moment you conceive a child, everything you do in between impacts that child. I repeat that. The moment that you conceive a child, everything that you do impacts that child. And so if you have not addressed anything that was negative in their lives, they're prone to repeat those things as an adult or as a teenager. And so you'll start seeing those things in actions and behaviors. And so that's really what I tell people is that you can't ignore it. If they feel like that's love, it's not. That's why we're calling them red flags. So they have to be able to identify what love is. And when we talk about teenagers, do they really even know what love is anyway? But they should definitely know that it's not unhealthy.
Yeah, what is not love? And if they don't have a really good example of what love is, what a healthy relationship is, they will think that maybe that is how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Go a different route. So thank you for that.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a major red flag. Our social media, right? Our social media, cell phones, the texting.
Right.
Yeah. Major.
That's one of the major ones. Another red flag is someone, and actually I want to touch on this one. I usually have it at the end, but it really needs to go to the front lately. If someone is saying that they're going to, I can't live without you. I will die without you. I'm going to kill myself if we break up. Those are things that not only are red flags, but that's something that your child needs to be telling you or school or wherever they are as some adult immediately, because that person who's making those comments needs help immediately. A lot of our mass shootings are from someone who's made those kinds of comments. A lot of our teen and adult homicides are from someone who made those comments. My father made those comments, and in police reports that I've read, he was kind of practically holding up a sign like, I'm going to die without her. If I can't have my wife, I can't live without. And he was, I'm going to die. I mean, he just kept going on and on. And we are talking back in the 80s. People thought, oh, he's just talking, he's just upset. No one thought it would go to the direction it went. And so we have to take those serious. Please do not take that for granted or lightly. Even if the person, sometimes the person could just be saying that for attention or playing, but you want to be on the safe side. You want to report that and you want to take action. That is something huge and big. You do not want to be in a relationship or even around someone who is making threats against themselves or anyone else in that matter. So another thing that I also do is work for criminal courts, the domestic violence diversion program. So I work with the abuser who first time being arrested, and now we're trying to be proactive and preventative for them to get the help they need so they do not reoffend. And I actually have a young person on my caseload who was initially arrested for terroristic threats. He told his girlfriend that he was going to kill her, her grandmother, and her mother. Like he was going to wipe out the whole family. And thankfully, she told a friend, and the friend called and said something is not right because he had a whole plan on how he was going to do this. And so you have to be cognizant of that. If it's one of your friends, if you hear someone saying something like that, you want to tell someone. You cannot ignore that. You cannot be quiet. Forget the whole snitches, get stitches stuff. This is something real. This is people's lives. It could also impact you and affect you. So please be aware of that. That is another big red flag that you want to look at.
So who should they report to?
So it depends on where they are. So if you're at school, a trusted counselor, principal, if that happens. If you're at home and somebody texts or something like that, you have to go straight to your mom, dad, caregiver, whoever is taking care of you. Those are the people that you need to report to. Some adults. If you're in a place to where there's no adult around, then you need to use your phone and dial 911 and make a report, and the police will come. Doesn't mean the person's going to go to jail and all this other stuff immediately. It just means that they're going to look into that, and if that person needs help, they're going to get the help they need. So you can't ignore it.
Right. Sometimes they're scared to call 911 and the police. But
True.
I tell parents that to talk to your kids about that calling the police is not always a bad thing.
Right. It's not an immediate death sentence as
Right.
some people push. And that's one of the areas that, we have to work on in our community about trusting police. That's a whole nother issue. I mean, because victims have issues with the police as well. Victims have called the police. And sometimes if the police is not really educated on domestic violence, and especially if the guy is well known or maybe a celebrity or something, they may side with the abuser. So that's a whole nother
whole nother topic, right? But I do want to reinforce that calling the police is not always a bad thing. Right? They are there to help you, right?
Right.
That's important.
Right. Absolutely. Another teen dating violence red flag would be some obvious things. So if you are a parent or an educator or someone that interacts with children and you notice a huge change, maybe in the person's attitude, maybe they're dressing totally different. Let's say, she always likes to wear dresses and she's very girly, and all of a sudden she comes in very like jeans and a baggy shirt and very totally different than what she usually dresses like. Pull her to the side and kind of see how things, like what's going on. It could just be a fashion change, or it could be not. It could be boyfriend telling her, I don't want you wearing that dress anymore because I don't want anybody looking at you. And if that's the case, and she says, which usually they will, they'll say, well, yeah, he doesn't like me wearing dresses. Red flag. Pull that person to the side. And I know for me, I work with a lot of youth, and I tell them in a minute, drop that. Like something's going on with them. They, it's not your job to try to save them or help them. They need to get the help on their own, but you do not need to be attached to something, especially at a young age, that is telling you what to wear and how to dress and how to look. That's not okay. Another one that a lot of our teenagers are, talking about is the conversation. So if the kid gets home and they're getting ready to have dinner with their family and they say, okay, I'll call you back later. And by the time they sit down, their phone, is in the room or whatever. That person has been called them 99,000 times. Literally text and all this stuff. And it's like, I just told you I was with my family. Or you're hanging out with your friends and they're calling you. They want you to, you need to show me proof that you're with this person. All of that. I mean, nobody should be doing that but your parent, really. I mean, let's just be real. Nobody that you're dating should be saying, show me proof you're with who you say you're with. If they can't trust you, which, a lack of trust, that's a red flag. That has nothing to do with you personally. That's something to do with them, and they need to work on whatever it is. But back to that, again, you cannot fix that. You cannot change a person. You cannot make them be secure within themselves and to gain trust and all that. They have to gain that on their own. So if they're doing those types of things, blowing your phone up after you just said that you were with mom and dad or you were with whoever, and they're just kind of constantly calling you and show up where you are and those types of things, red flag.
What I've noticed is they will call using FaceTime or Messenger, right? That's how they'll call you so they can automatically see where you are. Somebody shouldn't always call you on video because it's like a way they're just checking up on you. And so I'm saying you do not have to respond via video.
I do have to consider that's how young people, I mean, nowadays, 2021, I won't necessarily say FaceTiming or video chatting is a red flag. I won't say that because a lot of young people, that's kind of like the thing now. Texting all the time. Like there's a quiz I give when I do workshops with youth called Healthy Relationship, Healthy Boundaries. And one of the questions is about does a person call and text you all the time? And so I kind of take that with a grain of salt because that's kind of what they do now. It's like they're texting. So I add the component of does it make you uncomfortable? And so if you are uncomfortable with it or you deny the video, like the face, because I'm about to be 38 years old. I don't like doing that video chat all the time. I might not feel like it. And so people know not to just quickly video chat me because you'll get denied. And so if you do that, you deny the person, they get upset, and that's where you get your red flag.
Got it. Because my hair might not be done. I might not be trying to talk to you right now. So but I get it. Love that.
Yeah,
if you feel uncomfortable, that's a red flag. Or if they get mad that you deny the video, that's a red flag. Love that.
Right. And then lastly, another big one for youth is someone that puts you down. We used to always say, well, treat the girls you're with like you do your mom and your sister. Well, nowadays, they could be disrespectful to their mom and their sister. So that might not be something you want to go by anymore. So basically, you want the person to treat you with respect. If they're telling you something that's in a very mean-spirited way, you're not feeling good about what they said. And that's with anybody. And that's just not relationship. That's any type of friendship. If somebody is bringing you down and making your spirits low and bad, that's not a healthy situation in a relationship as a whole. And I say that because a lot of these young people have friends that are in their circle that are not healthy. And then they end up in these unhealthy relationships. And of course, the unhealthy friend is not going to tell them, oh, that's not good. You shouldn't do that. They're going to try to keep pushing them off the cliff, basically. So you want your circle of people in your life to be positive. You should feel good around them. They should not be pulling you down, making negative comments to you and about you. And so those things are important. And so parents, if you notice a difference in your child's behavior, and then have that open door conversation. I was raised with my grandparents because I was orphaned, and my grandmother was like my best friend. Like I could tell her anything that was going on. And when I say best friend, there was still respect there. Like, I knew she didn't play no games. But if, when something was going on or if somebody said something or I wasn't sure about something, I could go to her and say, Granny, what do you think about this? And I did that all the way up until she passed a couple of years ago. I mean, she was my go-to person about life circumstances or something that I wasn't sure about. And so parents, you want your child to feel the same way, to be able to come to you with stuff that they're not sure about, and you give them an honest answer. Don't let them be afraid to come to you about stuff. Because, honestly, my mom kept what she was going through away from my grandparents because back then I can understand it because my grandparents probably would have just went all the way bananas, probably in jail. And so I get it. So you got to find a balance is what I want to say, is that you got to find a balance. So your child can come to you about things that's going on and know that you're not going to go all the way left, but still address it, and they can still feel comfortable with you addressing with them.
I love that. I was looking at some stats that said 81% of parents believe that their children would never be a victim of teen dating violence.
And they are super shocked when they find, I get this past year alone, I've had so many requests from universities, like, we have a huge problem, and their parents have no idea that their child is on campus being abused. And that's because they're adults at that point. And so, and they don't have to tell their parents because they have campus people that are helping them, counselors and stuff that they're going to and confiding in. And so these parents are in the dark, not knowing what is going on. And there are tons of boys and girls that are in these unhealthy situations, whether that person is another student or a grown up that then got on campus and started dating this person and being abusive. It is going on, guys. So have that conversation. If you know, especially if you know that your child didn't really see a lot of healthy situations, healthy relationships, do family therapy. Both of you heal and grow from that so you can be able to break that cycle.
Yeah, family therapy is important because you can't act like it never happened. They saw it, they heard it. And so you have to address that. You can't be like, oh, everything is okay the next day. You have to address it and through counseling and not let the children think that this is a healthy way, that you're in survival mode, and I don't like that. So I agree that counseling is so important. And a lot of times I'll tell parents, don't tell your kids that you will kill the person that harms them, that you're going to do something so dangerous and vindictive, because then they won't come and talk to you.
Right.
You have to have that conversation. You can't do the fear tactic. And if you've been doing the fear tactic, come back and try to correct that behavior and talk to them about, you heard some training, you heard somebody speaking, and you realize that you've told them wrong and that you wouldn't harm somebody that harmed them, because then they won't tell it as well.
Right. Right. And I mean, you don't know. I mean, for example, when I share my story, I always tell people like I couldn't date till I was 16 and I didn't understand why. I'm like, why can I date till I was 16? So I had my first date at 16. His name was Jason. He was fine. And so me and Jason go to the mall out here. It was called Gila Mall. That was a thing to do back in the day. And we go to the mall and Jason's in the store and I'm looking at jewelry. Well, this other guy, I think he was a classmate. He told me he went to my school. He approached me and was like, oh, you got a boyfriend? I said, oh, yeah, I do. He's over there. That was it. Jason comes over to me and upset. Like, why is he looking at you? And immediately, and at this time, I'm 16. I really didn't. I mean, I knew my mom was in heaven. I didn't know much about domestic violence. I didn't really talk about any of that. But I really think, looking back, I think it was kind of like my mom, Angel, saying, this is not a red flag or something. Because I didn't even know what domestic violence was, but it's something in me snapped and was like, this is not good. And so I looked at him and I kind of tried to laugh it off. And I said, what do you mean? And he says, no, we're finna go right now. I can't believe you let him look at you. And I said, Jason, what is going on? He said, you know what? F you, and left. Dude left me at the mall. Okay. So I called my granddad. I said, Paul, this boy, I said, Jason left me at the mall. He got upset because somebody was looking at me. And I cannot imagine, and this was way before I even knew how my mom, like, I didn't know anything at this point at 16. So looking back at it, I'm like, man, I bet my grandparents flipped a lid. Like, this girl's first date and she's already got someone. And I really think, and that's when I tell people, I'm like, childhood trauma, it's like a cycle. And that's the enemy cycle, really, because I'm 16 and the first person I go out on a date with is, toxic. And dude left me at the mall. I called Paul. I said, Paul, come get me. He left me. So my granddad is, 2.2 seconds to come pick me up. Jason, dumb behind, decides to show back up and try to force me in the car with him. And my granddad beat him up.
Your granddaddy beat him up.
My granddad beat him up and he took off, right? Okay, so fast forward to me being almost 9. I think I was 19 at the time. I'm working at the sheriff department, working in the corrections. I was a jailer. Guess who comes through the back door? Oh, Jason, arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon on his girlfriend at the time. He had been arrested multiple times for domestic violence. So I think I definitely dodged a situation with Jason. But I share that to say that, it's so easy to get into something toxic without even trying to. But luckily I had that support of my grandparents. I knew I could call him and say, hey, come and pick me up.
Right.
And I knew something wasn't right. I just didn't know what wasn't right. I knew something was right. I just didn't know what wasn't right until I got older and started putting the pieces together. I'm like, oh, that don't make sense. Like, why would I can't control somebody looking at me.
So Jason didn't learn from the beatdown.
No.
You should have learned. You should have learned.
But he did learn that I wasn't the one.
You wasn't the one, right? But he did. That's hilarious. I love that. I love it. Did your grandparents talk to you after that incident? Do you remember?
Yeah, my granddad he's always, and my grandmother both. I mean, my grandmother's always been telling me, that, how I should be treated and how beautiful I am and all these things. But my granddad definitely had, pulled me aside, like, Latasha, a man should never put their hands on you, and kind of gave me this whole rundown of how I should be treated. And my grandmother followed that up with a more biblical sense. She was very, here's the Bible. The Bible says what God says love is and how women should be treated and those types of things. So I had both sides telling me that what Jason did was not okay. Not only that, but I deserve better than that. I deserve someone that's going to be there and be caring and compassionate. And I was able to see that with my grandparents. I was able to see what healthy relationship looked like. And so I'm able to kind of know, okay, that's okay and that's not okay type of thing.
Yeah, I like that. You always want somebody to pour into you and pour into our kids. Like, I didn't do this, but I thought it was a great idea where mothers date their sons and fathers date their daughters. I wish I would have done that when my kids were growing up, but that is a really good thing to do to show them what relationships should look like, how to be treated, what love is, and chivalry. Because I don't believe that chivalry is dead. It's that
right. I mean, yeah, and my granddad, my first jewelry, I've always had, nice jewelry and purses. My first name brand purse, all that stuff came from my granddad. And he did that because he didn't want me to be easily swayed by items, like most of the time teenagers are. And so, and I remember, sometimes there'd be grown men. I'm 16, 17 years old, and these grown men, which that's a whole nother topic of, protecting your girls. These grown men are trying to, you look good. I bet you look good with this diamond bracelet. My papa just bought me a diamond bracelet. And it was like, that didn't faze me. Like, you can come to me with, jewelry or clothes or purses and all that. I already had this. My granddad got me that stuff. And then I had two granddads in my life who, both would, I had two pagers and two this and two that. So they both poured into me. So a man couldn't come, a boy couldn't come and throw that foolishness at me. I'm like, no, I need your respect. How do you talk to me? How you gonna treat me? All that other stuff is a bonus.
So, Latasha, you actually was a little spoiled. You had two pages. Look, I'm gonna be a little envious right now, girl. I never get a page.
Listen, the only reason why I was not spoiled, it was more so that my other granddad was trying to make up for lost time. And that's really what it was, because he wasn't around a whole lot. And then it wasn't until I got a little older he showed up, and and I kept telling him, like, I don't need you to give me stuff. I need you to be here, and so. But he kind of wanted to do both things. That's a parent. I guess a parenting thing. I'm not a parent, so I don't know. But I feel like that's what he kind of felt like he should have done, because he wasn't there as much.
To buy you, yeah. I'm just messing with you. I
don't trust me. I'm not going to deny it.
Those pages,
but I'm not a spoiled brat, though. I know I am spoiled, but I'm very giving, and I don't let this stuff. I mean, that stuff bothers me, and that's because my grandmother kind of made sure, like, you don't look down on people. You don't let things, materialistic stuff is materialistic stuff, and that's really how I've always looked at it.
I love it. I love it. We have some comments for you. Enrico said that when I was 16, I was in a relationship with my ex. Would say they would kill themselves if I left. I'm 22 now, and they're still alive. Listen.
And you know why, Enrico? Because it's just it's issues. And God bless them. I hope they got the help that they need. They probably did not. But I'm glad you're safe, because there's a lot of guys that are, I mean, if y'all just watch the news, and a lot of times they only show snippets of when a man is killed by a woman. But if you Google that stuff or look it up in your community, you'll be surprised how many men are killed by their intimate partner.
Yeah. That's Enriqua. It's a girl.
Oh, it's a girl. I understand Enrica. I'm sorry. I thought it was a guy.
Sometimes I sound like I'm really from South Carolina. That's what it is. But because men do die from intimate partner violence. It does happen, and we don't always talk about it. But she also said it was a common manipulative tactic that I didn't know.
Yeah, it is. That's narcissism behavior. That's a whole nother. I usually do like about an hour to 2 hours on narcissism. Yeah,
just to let them know. And Deborah said it needs to be healthy boundaries with a camera on. So even if we do agree to have a camera on, we should have some healthy boundaries going on. So I agree, because we were talking about cameras when they FaceTime you or message you.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, cameras.
Yeah.
Yes.
When they're FaceTiming and messaging, they should have.
Yes. Like I said, nowadays almost everybody is doing the whole FaceTime and video chatting and stuff like that. As long as, like I said, if you feel comfortable with it, if you're healthy with it, y'all both are on the same page about it. There's boundaries. It's the difference is when it becomes a red flag when it's forced. If someone's telling you this is what's going to happen, or they get upset because you did not FaceTime them, then that's when you have a problem.
Okay. And Lily said you're very informative. She is, Lily.
Oh, thank you.
Love it. So one thing I did want to talk about was how teen dating violence leads to depression and suicide. Can you speak on that, like after the fact, some of the things that you've seen our teens experience?
Well, I can speak on that personally. And like I said, my grandmother just passed away a couple years ago, and I was going through her stuff, and I was going through her Bible, and she actually had a suicide letter I wrote, and I usually share it when I do my speaking engagements. And man, I forgot all about it, and she put it in her Bible, and thank God I had a praying grandmother, because I forgot all about it. And once I read it, it brought back a flood of memories of me smiling on the outside. I was the kid. People really wouldn't have known that I was struggling unless they read a letter or something that I wrote, because I would come home crying, and I would write crying out to God, asking him, to let me die. I wanted to be in heaven with my mom. And so every day that was a constant feeling. And so it is very common that children who witness abuse, or in the household where there's been abuse going on, or witness the murder suicide, they're going to have struggles, whether it's suicide or homicidal thoughts. A lot of kids, if we see these things like, how did that kid kill their family and stuff like that, and then you start digging into the household, and you're like, whoa, they kind of been through some stuff. So that's why we talk about unresolved childhood trauma. That's why we talk about being proactive and getting your kids in the childhood in child therapy. In doing therapy, we have to take away the stigma of that. And so thank God, like I said, I had a praying grandmother, and it's kind of those thoughts started going away. And then once it wasn't until I got grown, so I really started doing some real counseling. But I would just continue praying about it and crying out about it. And by the grace of God, I never had an attempt on my life. I just always had thoughts that, my thoughts were more like asking God, like, why don't let me wake up. Like, I just didn't want to wake up. Basically, it wasn't like I didn't have a plan, which some youth do. A lot of them do. They have these full blown out plans. So I never had a plan, but I just didn't want to live.
Right. And I think it's important for parents to understand that suicide, depression, all of that really does occur in our teens. And you think that it's not happening to yours. And sometimes they hide it like you did, Latasha. I could tell you that your grandma was praying for you, honey. If that letter was in that Bible, she was praying for you. But
yep.
Really,
and I scanned the letter, and I use it in my presentations now. It was a letter, and it was a drawing. I did a drawing of me, and I was crying, and it was like kids making fun of me, because you imagine, one, you don't have your mom and dad, you're living with grandparents, and people are making fun of you about that, saying, oh, you don't even have your mom and dad, nah, nah, nah. Making comments. They're already picking on you anyway. And so you have to deal with all of that on top of childhood trauma. That is enough to make anybody want to just lose it. at some point. And so I had a drawing that I drew of me crying, and like everything was sad around me and people were laughing at me. And she had that in her Bible too. So I'm glad it was there.
There. Yeah, we have to address that, what's going on mentally with our children. And so I really want parents to take that to heart. You might not know it, you might not always see the signs, but if you really pay attention to them, you can, and have that intimate time with them, or identify somebody that they could talk to. My last major question for you is, how do you discuss consent with teens?
Okay, so that is a big one. So I have like a video I actually show them that goes into real detail of consent. But in short, I will say that especially for young parents with boys, please talk to them about not putting themselves in situations. If you're at a party and there's drinking and you're not supposed to be drinking, or even if you're of age to drink going on, forget about the whole hooking up thing, because people have been drinking. I mean, you just have to be careful in these situations, because you can not, think you're getting consent, and it's not okay, because that person is, if they're too drunk to be able to give that real consent. So I always say, when you're young, just don't do it. Don't even put yourself in the situation, especially with young boys. Girls are the same way. I mean, it's very rare that girls force a boy into something, but it could happen. I'm not saying it can't. But with consent, you just want to be careful. If there's a party, like I said, and there's drinking and stuff like that involved, you really can't give consent to someone. You can't give consent if you're under the influence and you're not in your right mind. And it also goes for a grown up. So if you are, I know in Texas, if you are 17, 18 years old, you can't date somebody that's 16, 15, because if parents don't agree, they could definitely file charges against you. And that's a whole nother, issue. And it's sad, because I hate to see an 18 or 17-year-old and they're dating a 15-year-old, and that's only like a 2-year difference. But if they end up being sexually intimate and they feel like they got consent, and the parents get upset and found out that they're having sex, they could definitely be charged with being a sex offender. And so you got to have those conversations about age. You got to have those conversations about safety, and really being in communication. That's something that parents are going to have to do. And if anyone is interested in that video, I need to find it, because it's been a minute since I've had to show that of consent. But it's a really good example of what consent is, and really goes into detail and very helpful.
Okay. And when you find it, we'll share it on the Hush No More page.
Great.
Because I think that's important for them to see. But consent to me is something that you definitely have to talk to your teens about, and permission, what are boundaries about their bodies, and that they have a right to say yes or no. When we look at teen dating violence, a lot of times, like they say 50% rape and sexual assault occur in teen dating violence. That's a high number when teens are forced to have sex, or they're like in that moment not realizing like what they're really getting themselves in. You have to have that conversation, that they have a right to say no, and that they have a voice. And so please talk about consent, because if they don't understand that, they don't understand the power of consent and their right to walk away, you gotta have a conversation.
Right. And we definitely still have a conversation about people that are married, because there is such a thing as marital rape. If the person says no, no is no, period. And that's something that's consistent with across the board. Even if it's your wife or your husband, if they said no, no is no.
Right. And what I realized is that everything that we talk to teens about, the same thing applies to adults. So all of these red flags really do affect adults as well. And it's something that you ought to pay attention to, and be able to contact organizations like Cheryl Voice, like Hush No More, to actually get help, to actually be able to find out a way to leave the relationship in a healthy way, in a safe way. I think that's really important, that we come up with a safety plan and get you out of there. So I want to make sure, Latasha, if there's anything else that you wanted to share with us tonight that we did not hit on.
I think we pretty much covered a lot.
We did.
If anyone has questions, or if I'm an open book, so whatever you have, you can put it in there and you can let me know what they said.
Okay. And then I also will share your contact information as well on social media and also on our podcast so that people could be able to contact you. And especially because you have a great organization and if they want to donate to your organization. Can you tell us your contact information for Cheryl's Voice?
So Cheryl's Voice has a website. It's Cheryl, CHERYL _S. Voice, VOICE, www.cherylsvoice.org. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we also have an app. So if you are in the area, if you download the app, it has all the resources that are here in Tarrant County listed on that app. So if anyone wants a speaking engagement, I'm a national speaker at this point in my career. So I travel and do those workshops for different topics, which is teen dating violence or domestic violence or sharing my story, or also talking about how dating violence correlates with sex trafficking, which is a whole nother arena. But I do cover those as well. Also talking about having conversations about, how to date, because a lot of people are getting back into the dating arena and they're trying to date online and how to do that safely, teaching people how to background check someone. I background check everybody. I don't play them games. So all that stuff, I talk about that. I do workshops on those things. Here in the community, one of the things that we do, and so the donations go toward, is giving out product to the community. So Amazon has partnered with us, and I have these educational giveaways. So basically, people will come and then get everything from toiletries to electronics, laptops, iPhones, whatever they need. They can get all that stuff for free, but they're going to also be educated at the same time. And so we have to cover costs for movers to come and move that stuff so we can get it all set up. And we also cover costs for the printed items that we give them with resources on domestic violence and backpacks and those types of things for kids. We do a lot of that. And so that's really where my heart is. And I don't have like sponsors yet. And I use my salary to do a lot of that stuff, but I do appreciate any type of donations that we do get. So I appreciate you using your platform to say that, because anything that we do get, that's pretty much where it goes, is for moving expenses and costs to be able to give stuff to the community.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's important that people know what different organizations do. And where are you located? Because you talked about
we are in Fort Worth, Texas, in Tarrant County. That's where I'm located. But I do travel. I just last year before COVID, I was in New Orleans, and then I had one in Florida. And as soon as I got back from Charlotte, we got shut down. We got COVID had taken us over. So prior to that, I get asked to. I think I got an email from somebody in Alaska because I work in criminal courts, and so I did a workshop in Louisiana and New Orleans for police officers and professionals and court professionals. And so one of the people from Alaska and Hawaii emailed me asking me would I come and speak and do workshops. I'm like, okay. So I travel.
I love it. I love it. I love to travel too. It's a good thing to be able to travel to provide advocacy and training. It's an amazing feeling. So thank you for joining us today. This hour went by really fast.
It did. And thank you for having me. If anyone has any questions or anything, please reach out to me. And because some people I know are probably sometimes they don't feel comfortable just kind of putting it out there. And so if you have questions, you can email me anytime or send me a message on the app. The app goes straight to my email. So
I love it. I love it. Thank you so very much for joining us. We'll have to have you back because you have some really good topics. And I just love your sense of humor and the way that you explain it and you simplify everything. So I absolutely love that.
Thank you. Thank you. I always pray that that's what I do.
You do. All right. So that is Miss Latasha. I am so proud of her and just thankful that she came and joined us today. As you know, Hush No More provides a lot of resources in the community. We provide free training. You can contact us at www.hushnomore.org. Our number is 1-888-285-2161. You can find us on all the social media platforms. So make sure you reach out to us. We have some very fun events coming up for SAM, Sexual Assault Awareness Month. April 16th is spoken word. So if you are a poet, we would love for you to participate in our virtual spoken word. April 18th, it is warrior training, survivor to warrior training. And we're going to do some hand-to-hand combat training. That's what I call it because I'm prior military. But we're going to do some real good self-defense training. And that's going to be a live event where we'll be social distancing and wearing our mask. And then on April 18th, we're going to do a Hush No More documentary screening. That is all online. So get your popcorn and join us on that day. And also on the 24th of April is our Child Sexual Abuse Forum. So parents, we really need you to attend that because you need to know what's going on with our children and how you could protect your children from being abused by not the stranger, but by people that they know. And so that is the month of April. Next week, March 2nd, we have Mary Knight. She's going to come on Hush No More Champions and talk about spiritual rituals and the KKK as it relates to child sexual abuse. That is going to be a good one. I didn't even know that KKK was real big in child sexual abuse and pornography. So that's going to be a good one. March 16th, we are going to have Janae Chu. She's going to talk about forgiving my rapist. That is very hard to do. And so I'm looking forward to see how she accomplished that. So if you're having a problem with forgiveness, you want to forgive, you don't want to forgive, join us because that's going to be an interesting conversation. So thank you for joining Hush No More Champions, where we spotlight survivors, their stories, advocates, and nonprofit organizations. If you would like to be a guest on Hush No More Champions, please contact us because we would love for you to share your story because we believe that you have a right to tell it. So peace and blessings to you all, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, everybody. It's Michael Finkley with the Michael Finkley Show.
And I'm Nicole with Conversations with Nicole. You can join me Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on all of my streaming platforms.
Well, Nikki, don't forget about the Michael Finkley Show, Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the CTR Media Network.
Join us.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mila, lead singer of 702, and you are watching the Michael Finkley Show. Where my girls at?
Hey, don't you violate me.
On the next Michael Finkley, award-winning filmmaker, artist, activist, Think Fam, Low-Key Mahala is back with us, and Community Spotlight Series, all new Finkley, Monday.
There's a new familiar face this time. Say hello to the new daytime. See it everywhere you go, doing the greatest show. It's no other than the Michael Finkley Show. There is no other. He's like no other. I'm so glad that someone resonates with me. It's time to make it.
Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Now, y'all, my next guest, he is truly family to the show, y'all. He was on the show last year around this time, and he has come back. And I'm like, come on back, right? Come on back. He's none other than Arthur, activist, and Emmy award-winning, y'all, Emmy award-winning filmmaker himself. He is Low-Key Mahala. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. You left something out of that whole intro there. Yeah, you know what it is. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. All right.
We intentionally left that out on purpose, okay? Because there's none other than the black and gold that you see behind me.
Right.
We got one color right, but we give you that.
All right, let's move on now.
How are you?
Doing good. You know, just keeping busy. Busy till get out. I mean, we've just been. We finished that film, that we talked about previously. The Emmett Till film.
Yep.
Emmett Till, White Lies, Black Death, and it's really intense. It's 54 minutes, and it's focused on those on who killed Emmett Till and the lies and conspiracy that was created to hide the truth. Because who we think did it is not the complete story, and what happened is not the complete story. And the story that's through Look magazine that most people are familiar with is not the story at all. I mean, it's amazing. It's people to this day still think it's just two people, and and so it's a great film. We've enjoyed getting that out there, and we're we continue to push that out. And then I've got a new book, right, that we released in May. Here's the cheap plug right there. Get Back to the Counter. A little forward by Ruby Bridges, but
throw it out there. Throw it out there.
Well, it's Ruby. But it's 7 lessons from a civil rights icon. So it's my mom's story. We have kids books on my mom and stuff, but we don't have anything for adults. And so I was like, I didn't want to do a straight biography. I wanted to do something that was a little more interesting, and a little more applicable, that we can, it's not just what are these lessons, what are these stories, but what lessons can we derive from that in our time. And it's interesting. I didn't frame it as leadership lessons or life lessons or anything. And so people have even taken it of getting back to the counter as here's the blueprint for, social action. So, which is great. I mean, people are taking it in a lot of different ways, and it's wonderful. I mean, we've got organizations that are already using it in trainings and the like. So it's been a blessing. Yeah.
That is amazing. Wow. Now, please remind the Think Fam. A lot of them are watching for the first time. Some of them watching for the first time. Remind them who your mom is.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, mom is mom. So my mom is Joan Trumpower Mulholland, freedom rider, let's see. Well, by the time my mom was 19 years old, I'll just use the usual plug I do.
Okay.
So the usual bio So by the time my mom was 19 years old, she'd been involved in about 3 dozen sit-ins and protests when she joined the Freedom Rides, and then they took that famous mugshot of her and put her on death row. But she's kind of the Forrest Gump of civil rights, right? I mean, if you know the movie and stuff, there's Tom Hanks' character, and he's like, meeting all these famous people or at all these different events, just happens to kind of be there. My mom, and if you name a person, the civil rights movement and an event, she's probably connected in some fashion. And so it's a really unique lens through which to see this history. And she went to Tougaloo College. She pledged Delta Sigma Theta, sorority incorporated. And she was on the Klan's most wanted list and hunted down for execution and the like, and survived to tell her story and continues to share that even to this day. I mean, I'll see her. I see her on a couple of days. We'll be speaking at an event in Northern Virginia, and then I go down to North Carolina right after that to do a couple of keynote address at a conference, and then I come straight back from that, drive from North Carolina all the way back to Northern Virginia, and my mom and I speak again the following day, and just just keeps going, right? People just want to know, and her story is just that unique of a perspective, and so I'm glad to finally get that out there and they'll start really sharing it. Yeah, we just recently finished a kind of a book tour, if you will, through Mississippi and Alabama, and then Georgia as well, and it's just really cool, really nice to see people just really engage with it. So yeah.
And I look at your mom. I look at you and your mom on social media a lot, and you all have been viral several times.
Oh yeah.
I feel because you have like a lot of people are looking at this content that you all have. How does that feel? When people comment and they support and they subscribe and all this kind of good stuff towards this cause.
Well, not everyone supports. Let's be fair about that.
Well, even the naysayers watch.
Right, that's true.
They don't support. They still watch.
They're still watching. Yeah, I mean, we have our TikTok channel, and I think we're 230,000 or something like that. I don't know. Instagram and the like, but no, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's this different generation that's just really engaging in the stories, and it's and then to meet people that either at an event or even just walking through the airport. We actually, my mom and I, we were coming back. Where were we coming back from? I think it was from Atlanta. We're in the Atlanta airport, anyways, heading back to Virginia, and we had just dropped the car off. You got that little train that you have. You got to go to the train station on the next level to take the train to the airport, and this lady calls out. Now we're going up the escalators at this point, and someone called out. My mom's like, "Yeah, someone just said your name." I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm trying to get to the train, right? I mean, we got to catch a flight. I'm not going to go back down the escalators again." And that person started coming up the escalator. And I'm like, "That's the person." I'm like, "Okay." And then we get into the train, and they're following us to the train. And before the doors close, she goes, "I follow you guys on Instagram and so forth. I just love the work you're doing." I'm like, "Well, we appreciate you." She goes, "Can I get a quick selfie?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And got the selfie, and they jumped off before the doors closed, and we were on our way. And people were like, "What's going on?" But I mean, it's nice because you get a real sense that you're making an impact, and that people are connecting to history. I think that's the neat thing is my mom, is still here, whereas many of folks like the friends, like John Lewis and such are gone. So we still have a few of these icons left, and that can share their stories. And so that's cool. I had this lady reach out to me like 2 days ago. Was it 2 days ago? That was yesterday. And she says, "This is going to sound really weird, but I'm from Vicksburg, Mississippi," and she's probably like 60. I'm from Vicksburg. I live in Baton Rouge. I was with my mom in the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum the other day, and she pointed to your mom's picture and said, "That's the lady that made you the black Raggedy Ann dolls, and your brother his teddy bear." She goes, did your mom sew? I'm like, yeah, she sewed all sorts of things. I mean, yeah, that's what she did. You know, she goes, now was she in Mississippi? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but you know, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other people who are in Mississippi that sewed. She goes, a white freedom rider in Mississippi? I'm like, female and that can sew? I'm like, that sounds pretty close. I said, do you have a picture? She said, I don't have any pictures of the dolls, but my brother still has his teddy bear. I'm like, wow, get a picture. Let's take a look. I said, if I can see it, I can tell you if my mom did it or not.
Gotcha.
And so she sent it to me today, and I took a look at it, and I was like, oh my gosh. I went into my attic and took a picture of my teddy bear because it looks the exact same.
Oh my God.
And I said, here's mine. She goes, oh, I think I'm going to cry. I said, now, don't start crying yet. I need to show my mom the picture. Of course, my mom doesn't own a cell phone or anything like that, so I have to wait till I see her on Saturday. You know, this is today's Thursday, right? So we're recording this. So once I show it to my mom, you know, I mean, I'm like 99% certain. I mean, I really want it to be true, right? I was like, but that's what she did. You know, she was always touching lives in different ways. So
and it sounds true.
It does. I mean, it's there's no reason for her to make it up. I mean, she's got the teddy bear. I mean, her brother has it, and her grandmother went to Tougaloo College, which is where my mom went, but her grandmother went before it was even Tougaloo College. And she was involved in the civil rights movement, and that's where my mom, she said, your mom, you know, gave her these, said, hey, I understand you have grandchildren. Here's, you know, gave her these dolls and this teddy bear that she made for them. And, you know, 60 years later, they're trying to, you know, connect these dots. I mean, it's just crazy. But that wouldn't have happened if we weren't doing this type of work, and you know,
exactly,
with social media and as well. So I mean, it's
exactly.
There's these rewarding moments.
Exactly, it all matters.
Yeah.
Why is this so important for you to say, you know what, I'm going full time, full force with this?
Director Ryan Givens on the Michael Finkley Show. And if you ain't tuned in here, I don't know what you're doing, because this boy good.
Hello, everybody. It's Finkley from the Finkley Experience. We're an educational consulting firm that specializes in first-generation education. So we assist students with their college and career endeavors. We train school administrators on the state of first-generation students. And also, we partner with colleges and universities to assist their first-generation population for easy transition from high school to college. So if you're looking for a presenter or speaker that presents on these topics and so much more, visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com and learn about all that we do. We're looking forward to working with you.
Looking for some of the best soul food right here in Mullen, South Carolina? I promise you, come on down to Garden Alley.
Our great salad fabulous, or water gained, or potato salad, or chicken is fresh, macaroni and cheese is salted to perfection. I haven't found anything that's not great. Best ever.
Banana pudding, cakes, pies. Yeah. Selection is huge. Garden Alley is an awesome place to eat. I really love it.
Come by and see the amazing staff at Garden Alley, downtown Mullins.
So last year, you were still giving full-time efforts to the cause, right? But now it's like you're totally full-time.
Yeah.
Why is this so important for you to say, you know what, I'm going full-time, full force with this?
Well, I mean, it just kind of took over anyways. I didn't really have much of a choice.
Right.
I mean, everything I was doing was just compounding. Like saying, it just gets busier and busier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The work needs to be done.
Yeah.
And we all need to do our part, and we all, have different capacities. I've been building the foundation for 10 years. This is my 9th film. And so it's been a slow burn, but we've gotten to a point where it's, building that momentum and unfortunately, like I said, work needs to be done. We're coming into a cycle where it's going to get worse. I mean, we know that. We know this election cycle in 2024 is going to be, to quote, I was talking with Rena Evers the other day, Meg Evers' daughter, and she said, Loki, it's all hands on deck next year. I'm like, oh yeah, so it's going to be wild. I'm like, yeah. So, those of us who are in those unique positions that we can do this work, we need to be doing it. And there's a level of responsibility, and quite frankly, I mean, it's my people, if you will. I mean, those aren't my people, but it's white people. Let's just be honest. It's white people who are creating this chaos. And so, and there are those who are sitting on the fence who don't quite know what to do, who don't agree or whatever, and those who can be, converted. And it's people like me, who look like them, that are going to have the greatest impact on those opportunities. Because I'll have that chance to talk to them more readily than other people who don't look like them. And then to be able to have my mom's story out there as an example. I mean, it's, so it's like, I mean, they made the impossible possible, right? They ended legal segregation. So, anything can be done.
Anything. Like,
Yeah.
seriously. I feel like in this stage in life, nothing is impossible.
No.
Nothing is impossible. And I love the way you said we have a great work to do, right? We all can contribute in so many ways. You talked about the film that was finished last time we were here. You have your new book that's out. What else is the duo up to? Eminem, what else are you up to?
What am I up to? Well, I got another film I'm working on. That we're going to get out early next year. The goal is March. I'm hoping that we can get it ready by March. But called "Dying to Vote," and it's about the Vernon Dahmer story in Mississippi, and that's the central story, of which we will tell other stories from that, and about the history of this voter intimidation, and those who died for the right to vote, and those who died to protect the vote, meaning leading up to January 6th and the insurrection. And we're designing that film to be a short film, no more than 25 minutes long, so it can be slotted into more robust speaking opportunities for people to do screenings, not just us, but any organization that wants to screen it. That we'll give them access to the film, give them some talking points and so forth, and go do your screening either at your church or online or whatever it might be, whatever fits, and knock yourself out. We're not charging anything for it. And we want to take that film to some campuses as well, the HBCUs and PWIs and the like, but just to have that discussion, that reminder of why we need to vote. My mom had said to me once, my friends died so you can vote. And she was talking about Cheney and Schwerner, Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner from 1964, Freedom Summer. So that's very real in the back of my head there. And again, it's one of those sort of things we have to do our part, and that it's not too fine a point to say that democracy is in America is hanging by a thread, and we got to if we believe in these principles, then we need to do something to fight for it. Because there are people who are fighting to move in a completely different direction, and make no bones about it. I mean, they've already said what they want to do. So, we gotta make that stand non-violently.
I've been knowing you now for over a year, and what I love about you, low key, is not your fraternity, But what I love about you,
it's all family, man. It's all family. Come on.
of course. What I love about you though is in talking with you, you are so mannered. Your passion's there. You know, you do what you have to do, you know, for the cause, right? You do what you have to do for the work, right? What keeps you motivated and to continue and say, I want to do this? Because you could have years ago, you could have said, oh, that was just my mama. I'm not doing what she's doing. She did what she had to do, and I'm going to live my life. But what keeps motivating you to say, I want to continue on this legacy?
Oh man, what motivates me to do it? I want to know what else to do at this point. You know, I remember I came back from shooting the film and came back from like a week later after that we were on the road for a week, and I just said to my wife, I'm like, I should just be an accountant again. She goes, that won't last.
Won't last.
It's like, oh my gosh, I was just tired, but it's I just believe in people, and the work that I'm doing is nothing compared to what my mom and her friends did. I mean, I have no delusions on that, and I don't beat myself up for that. I used to be like, man, I mean, I'm not riding the buses or sitting at the lunch counters and facing mobs and things like that. But well, I don't have to. My mom once said, I can't do everything, but I can do something, because doing nothing is not an option. And everyone has their something, right? And we have to, that we get inspired to do. We just have to be willing to do that, to answer that call. Mine's just been this slow burn. Like I said, over these films, it's just kind of developed over time. To be in a position to do this work and to kind of continue to spread the message about the movement and about equality and human decency and so forth. I think at my core, I'm probably motivated by the same thing my mom was, which is, she said, people ask, why'd you do it? And she said, well, I did it because it was the right thing to do. And it was what I was taught in Sunday school. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Do unto others you haven't done to you. When you done the least of these, my brethren, you've done unto me, right? Those are things that I believe. And so I think that's probably at its core. That's not to knock anyone who doesn't do it, who reads the same scriptures or anything like that. It's not like I'm 24/7 like that all the time. But it's if I dig down deep to what motivates me, and I've been fortunate enough to with the films and so forth, meet some amazing people who are still with us, like Joanne Bland, Mrs. Evers, and Hank Thomas and the like, and to know what they've gone through. Who am I to not do what I'm doing, right? There's nothing in comparison with these guys are doing. Lou Von Brown, right? You had to jump out a second story window to escape the